Only two men in the last 20 years have coached Carlton to AFL premierships. Today, they meet head-on. One is a Carlton legend, a man who played in three glorious premiership sides in 68, 70 and 72. A kid who came from school and built his place in the Blues Hall of Fame. Today, Robert Walls, the coach of the Blues' great premiership side of 1987, is aiming to topple his former club. He will be pitted against a man who took Carlton to back-to-back premierships in the early 80s. A man renowned for his coaching skills. A man in his 378th game at the helm. Parkin and Walls, for the purists, a battle to savour. On field, we'll see two vastly different focal points. One, a stopgap named Scott McIver, who's bobbed up with 12 goals in 3 games. The other, Stephen Kernahan, fresh from a 10-goal haul against Footscray. Today, they may well hold the key. From the Gabba, 7 Sport is proud to present the Brisbane Bears and Carlton on AFL Sunday.
And a very good afternoon to our viewers right around Australia for this live and exclusive telecast of the game between the Brisbane Bears and Carlton at the Gabba here in Brisbane. It's warm and sunny, and it might be too warm for the boys from the southern climes coming up from Melbourne to play here, and maybe a home ground advantage will be keenly felt today by the Brisbane Bears, who've won 2 out of their opening 3 games. They've won their last 2 games at home, so this is their 3rd game at the Gabba in a row. Can they make it 3 out of 3 this season? Against the Blues, who are unbeaten, they've won 3 out of 3 this year. Other games being played today in round 4, it's Melbourne and Footscray at Princes Park, and Adelaide against the West Coast Eagles at Football Park. And some viewers will be taking a live telecast of that game between Adelaide and West Coast after this game. Check your local guides for details.
The 1995 AFL Premiership season. Brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors Australia, Qantas, McDonald's, Mobil, Carlton Draft and National Australia Bank.
Unfortunately today for the Brisbane Bears in their quest to beat Carlton here at the Gabba, they have a number of injuries. Richard Champion, a fullback, may have lined up on Stephen Kernahan. He's out injured. Also Matthew Clark in the ruck won't be taking his place in the ruck against, Justin Madden. And another one, new recruit is Ross Lyon. He unfortunately is missing, and he's down on the boundary line with Matthew Campbell.
Thanks very much, Drew. And Ross, Drew did mention a minute ago that it is quite warm here today, and you're a new player to the club, and I think Carlton may find it a little bit like yourself. It's a hard condition to get used to.
Oh, very much so. It's quite steamy today. I got up about 9 o'clock, I looked out, it was raining, and now it's sort of cut, the sun's shining, and it's really steamy here. I think Carlton will feel the weather a little bit, but they're a good team, and I mean, they're pretty professional, and they'll cope quite well, but we're hopeful it will sort of drain them a little bit.
Now, Ross, on your injury, what's happening? That brings us up to speed there.
Well, it's disappointing. I sort of struggled along with it for a couple of weeks, but the knee just blew up, pretty consistently. So I went and seen a specialist, and I have to go through an arthroscope on Tuesday. It's nothing major, I don't think, and I should be back in 3 to 4 weeks, and I'll do the rehabilitation work and hopefully come back and slot straight in.
Earlier on in the day, we mentioned that anyone who seems to play well for Brisbane seems to end up on the injured list, and it really is a test for the guys today, because most of the guys that are in form aren't playing today.
Oh, we got a couple out, Matty Clark, the ruckman, and Craig Lambert, and obviously Alistair Lynch and Chris Scott, so there's a bit of a list there and myself, but we're pretty confident the blokes are running out of fit and committed, and we'll do quite well. Here they come now.
All right, thanks very much for joining us, Ross, and back to you, Drew.
Thank you, Matt, and look forward to hearing from you on the boundary line during the day. The start of the game not far away. The Bears have made their way onto the Gabba, and we'll be back here after a short break.
Blight, Sheehan and McAvaney. Talking footy. Every Monday night on 7.
And they're jammed in today for Carlton. Malcolm Blight, you're having a busy weekend.
Yeah, isn't it terrific? The air of expectation around the ground's fantastic. Talking to some of the Brisbane people, they really are keen on this.
So, how do you see it? Let's take a look at the Brisbane lineup.
Yes, the Brisbane lineup. Robert Walls has shown in the openers as against his former coach, I suppose, in David Parkin. Terrific side. They do have too many injuries. Roger Merritt's an interesting one. Back for, 2nd game in a row now. two key players, I think, are Michael Voss and Scotty McIver. One, a real class youngster, former Till Cup superstar, can play up forward, play around the middle and can play back. He really has a lot of class.
A teenager in his 4th season. Amazing.
And Scotty McIver has played many roles in his career so far, but at the moment has terrific goal sense and is up among the leading goal kickers.
But look at the class in this Blues lineup.
Yes, indeed, David Parkin, 378 games of coaching, what a fantastic record. And of course, a very good squad. Beaten in the finals last year, Kernahan, Mackay, Clappe are all going to be key players today. Andrew Mackay is in fantastic form early, in the air, running hard at the football, the former runner-up in the Magarey Medal in Adelaide. He's been a terrific player at the start of this year. Matthew Clappe from the Eagles couldn't quite get a spot there. I think he's good enough, and he's been a surprising goal kicker for the Blues in the opening part of this season. And of course the key, if there's one man that can really hurt a game of football, that's Stephen Kernahan. What a fantastic player he's been for the Blues, and always their leading goal kicker in his 9 seasons. What a fantastic record.
And 10 goals last week for the 2nd time in his career in the AFL. Look at the expectancy on the faces of the people here at the Gabba. This is a big one for the Bears. They'd love to win it. We'll be back for the start after a short break.
From Football Park in Adelaide, the Crows and the Eagles on AFL Sunday.
A few people out there boating, but I tell you what, all roads lead to the Gabba today for this game between the undefeated Carlton and Brisbane, who've won 2 out of their first 3. And the Bears look pretty hyped up about this game here today, being spoken to there by Roger Merritt. There's Stephen Kernahan, who kicked 10 goals 7 last week against Footscray. Down on the boundary line once again, Matthew Camp. Matt?
Thanks, Drew. And the conditions down here are quite good for football, even though a little bit warm. The breeze is probably 2 or 3 goals kicking to the right of the screen. And I was in the Carlton rooms before, and they're very concerned about getting off to a good start and breaking the Bears early. And with the Bears, a bit of a whisper that Darryl White will play up forward today, so that should be something to watch.
And your tip?
Carlton.
And it's a chance to welcome for the first time this afternoon 403-game veteran Kevin Bartlett. Afternoon, KB.
Good afternoon, Drew, and it is very hot, and I think this will have an effect on the Carlton side over recent years. The teams coming up to the Gabba really have started to wilt, particularly after half-time. But I do think Carlton can win this game, particularly now with the likes of Craig Lambert, Matthew Clark and Rossi Lyon not taking their place.
Yes, you would have to say that they'd feel the absences there, and there's former Hawthorn Premiership player Andy Gowers going down to pick up his man Stephen Kernahan. What a task for Gowers, who last week played on the wing on Darren Kapler, so a bit of a different role.
Well, certainly that's his best position, playing on the wing. He's never really been a successful key position player. At Hawthorn, they tried him at centre-half forward and a bit at centre-half back. But this is a big task today. But Richard Champion, who's been in starring form, unfortunately is out for the Bears, so Gowers has got the job.
Yes, and Darryl White is playing up forward. Stephen Stilvani has picked him up, which is an interesting move. And Leppich at centre-half back on Spalding.
And here's a bit going on here. Steve Lawrence, who played his debut game last week, Barry Lawrence's son, he's in a bit of pushing and shoving here again this week, as he was last week. Carlton with the breeze in the first quarter, and the Blues going left to right of screen. Umpire Panozzo bounces down in the middle. Damien Burke actually beats Madden in the middle, but Koutafidis comes up with it, can't get through the pack. Bradley gets the hand pass inside the 50. The Blues first into attack, but it's chopped off by Leppich. It's coming back. The whistle's gone. No advantage paid there, and it's coming back to be a Bears free kick, even though Leppich was dashing away with it. It's coming back again.
Young Stephen Lawrence, the son of Barry Lawrence, the former St Kilda star and former captain, plays on and gets it across to young Leppich, who comes away. Looks out wide, but he finds this man Williams, who just seems to always be on the end of every kick in handball across the Camporelli, and his long shot at goals is off target for the first score of the match. He's given the Blues a little bit of pace this year. They've been concerned, particularly after the finals, that they needed a new injection of life.
Kick in by Gowers, but all to Carlton, and Spalding takes an uncontested mark on his chest. Into Koutafidis outside the 50. Breeze at his back. He blazes away but misses, and it's out into the crowd. There are plenty of Bear supporters down there. They cheered that one wildly, but there are a lot of Carlton supporters up here as well. Barry Mitchell there for the Blues. And a short pass in, and they're going to make him do it again. Magic Michael McLean from the back pocket for the Bears. Over towards half-back flank. Hannah with a big leap at the back, close to the boundary line. Comes back to Mill Hannah. He threads the hand pass for Williams, but it goes to Fletcher. Fletcher back to McIver. A different role for him today in defence. The kick bouncing up towards centre wing. Overrun by Starcevic. Hart is there, not doing much to get rid of it. Silvani claiming the free kick. The umpire will ball it up.
And I dare say, Malcolm, that Carlton kicking with maybe a 3 to 4 goal breeze.
Yeah, very important quarter this for the Bears. I mean, they must really try and hold them, try and get some advantage.
So Williams caught high there, must take the free kick, and he's a bit hurt there, the Diesel.
That was a knockout play.
And that's a bit unusual for Burke running into someone, Malcolm.
Oh, no, Damien, that big fella.
What are you getting at?
Bloody joking. Troy Clark, who playing in the back pocket over the last couple of weeks, has made that transition from a forward pocket rover into defence. Now he's a pretty tough guy, Burke.
Well, actually, he's got a terrific job too today, Damien. Madden obviously in pretty good form. Matthew Clark out, so rucks are going to be with Damien Burke today for the Bears' hopes.
Chance for Ratton, he's been dispossessed. Pearce, former Bears player, also dragged to the ground. And a baller.
Yeah, Brad Pearce played a couple of games for the Bears in 1993. And there's young Steve Lawrence, an 18-year-old ex-Teal Cup star. Chance here for the Blues. Kernahan in ruck. Peter Dean, he's been kicking goals lately. Behind that time, that was Clappe, Matt Clappe, who's also been kicking goals lately. The ex-West Coast Eagle. 29 games for the Eagles, and he's kicked 8 goals in the first 2 games this season.
So Gowers to bring the ball back into play for the Bears. And Magic McLean. Injured pre-season, had a reconstruction on his shoulder, then he had a stress fracture of the foot. Dual best and fairest winner. Very important today for his leadership and to play well. Hannah up over the top. Recovers at ground level to Bradley. Triple best and fairest winner for the Blues. Here's the skipper, Kernahan. He kicked 10 last week. Is he on target first up today? Yes, he is. So Big Sticks kicks his first goal.
And from outside the 50. Blues win it in the middle again. Hannah up towards the 50. Punched out of defence by Clark. Goes to Ashcroft. There's Lawrence. Good hand pass. Up to Clark. Bouncing ball, misses Fletcher. The hand pass comes out to Clark once more. Kicked by Troy Clark. Merritt's down there in front. Hands to it, couldn't mark. Here's Hart. Ripped away by Dean. Dean rushing it behind. And the first score for the Bears. And they put the Blues under some pressure there.
Sexton to bring the ball back into play. He's got a loose man. Gleeson, outstanding last week. Comes away. Casual bounce. And Bradley chips in. Just been a superb player for the Blues, Bradley, since coming across from Port Adelaide. He's won their best and fairest 3 times. A great ball carrier. Up towards his skipper in Kernahan. Back of the pack. It was young Lawrence playing on his second game, and here's Clappe.
Just a bit of
Make that Camper. Let's see. That is Camperelli there. Bit of a lookalike for Clappe. Big Burke thumbed the ball to the front of the pack. Williams there. Chance in the back there. Free kick. Must go to the Carlton skipper. So he usually isn't, I've always felt, Malcolm, that Kernahan's kicking is the only weak part of his game, but after kicking that first goal, 10 goals last week, he might have it back on track.
Yes, I think it's very much a confidence thing with him, and when he's on fire, one of the interesting plays before that was Lawrence really got a free ball at the back and just blazed away when he's in his second or third game, and I mean that's where just that bit of poise and bit of experience will come. He really shouldn't have blazed away with that. He had plenty of time.
So Kernahan only 45 metres out. They like it, and so does Stephen. So 2 goals to Kernahan, and troublesome times ahead, I think, for Robert Walls, but they are kicking with a 3 to 4 goal breeze.
Well, that's Kernahan's second. I mean, Gowers was right there and paid the penalty with a free kick where Kernahan really looked as though he was stopping. Gowers really didn't know what he was doing there. But the first goal came really from that set play, and Gowers wasn't on Kernahan at the time. So when you're looking at whether he's getting beaten or not, you must look at the times he went to the ball with him, and really it's only one of those goals now is Gowers. The rest of it is a team plan in a setup from a point kickoff.
2-2 to 1 behind. Blues in front, but they do have the breeze in the first quarter. Umpire number 23, Adrian Panozzo, in his second season. First weekend ever that the field umpires have worn numbers in the AFL. Fletcher takes it for the Bears. He was going to dish it out and then got collared. Ratton gets the hand pass, puts it out in front of Clappe. Ackermanis, number 35, is playing on Camporelli. 2 speedsters out there. Ackermanis in his first game. The Bears move it forward. Here's Whitehead. Kicked by Whitehead over centre wing. And the second mark is taken by Spalding. Comes back to Spalding. He's met solidly. They've turned it over. Now the Bears have it. Ashcroft to Hart. Good running here. Craig McRae. They've lost control of it, and the ball is out of play just forward of centre wing for the Bears. Young McRae from Glenelg in South Australia.
And he's been a good pickup too, because he's kicked 6 goals in his first 3 games of league football. So he's another option up forward. Big Madden kicks back towards centre half forward, and Spalding does a terrific job for the Blues. Kicks wide. He's looking for his skipper in Kernahan in front. Good punch away that time by Gowers at ground level. Here's Hannah, who's held for mine. Kernahan also dispossessed, kicked off the ground there by Gowers. Hannah once more after the ball with Troy Clark. And over the line, good defensive play there by Clark. Worried Hannah out of it.
Yeah, it's just up on the screen before, Kev, was the weather 24 degrees. It's that now, but it's quite the humidity which is high.
So Big Burke takes that front position. Couldn't get his hands to the ball. Tapped on by Ashcroft. Bradley, good shepherding there by Hannah. Centres the ball back. Clappe try to take a one-hander. Back here to Pearce. Straight over the line on the full.
Brad Pearce actually played the Victorian Teal Cup team in 1988. Had some footy in South Launceston in 3 seasons with St Kilda Reserves. So he has been around, as well as those 2 games with the Brisbane Bears.
He's the lucky star of the Brisbane Bears.
Mark to Hannah.
Should be an interesting duel, that one. Kennedy on Hannah. Both tall, both good in the air, both can run. Fantastic duel.
Now Mil Hannah out here pretty close to the boundary line. A fairly similar position from where Kernahan kicked the first goal of the game. So it is possible. Gee, it'll need to be a great kick. Breeze helping. Oh, it is a good kick. Is it there? I think it's over the line for a goal. No, the mark paid. A centimetre in it. Lepic right on the line.
I think it might have been a millimetre.
Well, he badly hurt his knee in 93 and just played 5 games towards the end of 94. Lepic, so he's one of their young guns. Quick kick out of the pack. Good running mark there by Lawrence. Well, his dad was a great player with St Kilda. Former captain Barry. And Troy Clark. His career may be back on track, but poor kick. Hannah intercepts, rockets it across here to Williams. Good interception by Gleeson. It's a long snap. Good bounce through, no. 1 point.
Interesting matchup in the centre of the ground. Adrian Fletcher playing on Greg Williams. Normally one or the other would be sat upon, I suppose, or run with, or tag, or whatever you like to call it. But it's interesting that they're just going to be responsible for each other today.
Were you coach of Geelong when Fletcher was down there?
Yes, I was, actually, yeah.
So you gave him the tier 1?
No, it was, we had a pretty good midfield, and Adrian looked for other opportunities.
Lawrence combining with Ackermanis. Oh, the youngster will take a free kick here.
Don't do that, son. You got the footy. Get back and play footy.
Jason Ackermanis making his debut today. Queensland Teal Cup champion, All-Australian Teal Cupper. Off the back of the hands, it comes to Williams. He gets the hand pass in by Whitehead up towards centre half forward. Flipped off the back of the hands. Pearce with Lawrence. Now Hannah and Voss. And the ball out of bounds, and we'll have a throw in between that area of the ground where the old Sir Leslie Wilson stand is being demolished. And look at this. Ackerman taken high by Camporelli. Two players new to the AFL this year. And Ackermanis, yeah, not too happy with the treatment.
So chance here for Hannah. The kicks to the square. Once more, Leppich. Started his career with the Bears as a centre-half forward in '93. He's found McAdam, former winner of the McGarry Medal, as our co-commentator, Malcolm Blight. Camporelli down there with Ackermanis, the fastest man on the Bears list, Ackermanis, and also the youngest player, Ashcroft. Deep to Merritt, he's out in front, he drops it. Sexton there, heads towards the boundary line. And we can see Darryl White just a bit anguished then that he couldn't keep that ball in play. So the Bears kicking against the breeze, down towards the school end, left of screen. The Blues towards the city end. Chance to come away with the ball, intercepted here by McRae. He's kicked 6 goals in his 3 games, down towards Mackay. Good defensive play by Mackay, the former South Australian star. Just hugs the boundary line, up towards Kennedy, thumps it away. Hannah, he should get some protection here from Christo. He does, gets around Hart. The 1-2, back towards Christo, fumbles. Hart's going to get him. Could have been a throw. Tapped out by Sexton, back to Hannah. So they're backing up well, the Blues.
Kick by Milhannah, up towards centre wing. Spalding's been all right so far. Burke can't take the mark. Fletcher fires out the hand pass. Lawrence has been prominent early. His kick off direction, intercepted here by Gleeson. The Bear playing against the Bears. Kick by Gleeson. Williams marks on the 50, right in front, thinks of the pass and finds his workmate and captain, Stephen Kernahan.
Yes, once again, young Loris, just the option of the kick back to the centre, really when they're an outnumbered situation. And Gleeson, Fletcher did very well over on the other wing. Williams just ran off him, and then that a great kick. Now the old timers, Kevin, they talk about that as a stab pass, but there's nothing better than watching that as well, is there?
Well, I think they've honed the drop punt today that it's a stab pass, it's a long kick. Once they used to think it was only for kicking short.
Kernahan, 3 goals.
To be very watchful of Williams because he has the habit of ducking back, hanging around on the half-forward line for that kick back. So Big Burke wins the tap. Christo, ooh, wild kick there by Burke. Free kick, in danger. So Ange Christo. You can see here with this wild kick off the ground, that certainly is kicking in danger. Big Madden, a big octopus, couldn't take the ball. Once more we see Williams there lurking across half-forward. And this is where he's very, very dangerous. A lot of people only give him credit around the centre of the ground, but he does drop back nicely, Malcolm.
He is a goal kicker, and Adrian Fletcher, who's playing on him, Adrian's a great natural player at the footy. He was close enough here. The kick was just perfect under pressure. So it's going to be a lesson for Adrian Fletcher today on whether he can play on a player. We know he can get the footy, so it's just his development as a player. Robert Wall's obviously working on that.
So Williams from just inside 50. And 1 point.
Yes, that breeze actually is just drifting the ball across to the right a bit and having a good look behind that kick. You can just see the ball just fade away to the right a bit.
Well, the scoreline does look bad for the Bears, but they haven't had use of this breeze yet. The kick in straight up the ground. Allen can't take the mark. Bradley, a centering kick. Kernahan again. Oh, scored by his own man. It comes to Kernahan. Fires out the hand pass. Williams taps on. Absolutely brilliant. And Camporelli, he can make the distance from 20 metres. Marked on the line. The hand pass fired out to Hart. The certain Blues goal. Sean Hart runs it out. The kick to centre wing. And Matthew Allen takes the mark. Well, with Madden and Allen to alternate, it's going to be a tough day for Burke. That's a free kick to Craig Bradley. And he'll take it from centre wing.
Great positioning the body, wasn't it? I mean, he just didn't grab the ball. He just put his body in front.
Midway through the first quarter, and the Blues are 3-4, the Bears a point.
So Hannah's looking for a Captain Kernahan. It's into his territory. Couldn't take it. Here's a chance for Pearce at ground level. Keen to do well against his old club. Gets the ball back to Ratton. Quick snap into the pocket. He's got it. Clappe. So he's had a terrific start to his career with the Blues. He's kicked 8 goals in 3 games. Just couldn't hold a regular spot with the West Coast Eagles. But he has given them, Malcolm, an extra option up forward.
Well, he has actually. I mean, he had to knock off McKenna and Worsfold as a half-back flanker for the Eagles, and it was just going to be hard work for the lad. And he's actually cut his nose here on the bridge of his nose. Hopefully he's all right. Oh, good trick.
Malcolm Blight used to do that, run around. That is good while they're patting your face with a towel, just taking off and just popping it through. So clap.
By Alan Rucking, it was won by Bradley. Here's McLean, back to Lepich, hand pass blocked. Now another chance for the Blues. Knocked over the top, this is good. Fletcher steers the pass. Merritt is there. McCover's been moved to the forward line. Merritt inside the 50, loses ground to Ackermanis, the first gamer. He's buried in a tackle. They've lost it. McKay, hand pass astray. McLean takes a knock high and goes back to take his free kick. He paid himself the free. Short pass, Starcevic. Good spoil by Dean, his man. Comes to Ratton, wide to Allen. Blues steady in defence. Oh, Bradley, a mile in the clear on centre wing. Craig Bradley being run down by Lappin. Bradley turning him inside out. Support by Pearce. Bradley still in the clear. Not a great hand pass by Pearce. Pearce with a bit of pace. Short pass is perfect. And Kernahan will be kicking for his 4th.
And he did show a lot of pace there, Pearce, to get away from his Bears opponent then. And this is something that they feel the Carltons lack. Just that little extra leg speed there. We see Pearce. I think, Malcolm, that he has got a bit of pace.
Yeah, it's a terrific block off the ball. You can see Gowers thought he was going to kick somewhere else, and if you're going to play full back, you must play on your man as close as you possibly can. You can't guess where the ball's going. And Kernahan here really needs to put this at the left goal post, and the breeze will just bring it back in beautifully.
Good angle on this one. Oh, it's a perfect kick. For the Kernahan, 4 straight.
Yes, he certainly had some opportunities, Stephen Kernahan, and I think that's 3 that he's virtually earned on Gowers now. Once again, Bradley's being very, very creative around the middle of the ground. Always cool. And Kevin, you summed him up pretty well. I believe he's been a fantastic player for a decade now. Pearce does pretty well here, actually. I mean, opposite Timmy Watson jump. Great block there. This kick, see Gowers went to go. You only have to beat one man when you're playing fullback.
So Fletcher from that centre square looking for the free kick. But umpire Sheen will
Williams
bounce.
down in the centre circle. Hasn't got up from that centre ball up. And I think he's seeing stars, Greg Williams, the current Brownlow medalist.
So McAdam punches the ball back. Here's Bradley. Carlton are killing the Bears midfield. Gets it across here to Koutafidis. His hand pass is a poor one. But Hannah, all the time in the world, the Blues constantly in attack. Chance for Kernahan again. He's kicked 4. Good punch away that time by Gowers at ground level. Once more, here's Camporelli. Very speedy customer. Loose man again. Here's Kernahan out in front. Make that Spalding. Chance for Gleeson. Being caught, taps it back out towards the skipper. Kernahan, wild hand pass. Here's a chance for McAdam, but the umpire has blown the whistle. And the free kick will go to Gowers. Just a bit of a throw. So Gowers, he's got his work cut out this afternoon. Starcevic at the front of the pack, picked up by Fletcher. Quick kick back. Carlton very strong across half back there. Defence against Footscray absolutely superb. And Ange Christo. Very important young player. Plenty of drive, very, very quick. Raking left foot kick.
Williams back on his feet, but a little bit dazed. Kernahan almost another mark. Front of the pack, Hart goes to Lawrence. Voss. Michael Voss. 4th season in AFL football, still a teenager. Over to Lappin. Floats the hand pass to Darryl White. Pokes the pass just outside 50. Fletcher covering ground off Williams. Gets support from White. Second time in the movement. Perfect pass, and McIver marks in front of McKay. Well, Scott McIver, who kicked 5 goals against Adelaide 2 weeks ago and 6 against the Swans last week. So his last couple of weeks at the Gabba have been very productive. Never in his career has he gone through a purple patch at goal kicking like this one. And the Bears certainly need this. They're into the breeze. Man on the mark is about 35 metres from goal, so he's a chance. And McIver looking to post the Bears' first goal. Good distance. Accuracy not there. Misses left.
Yes, that's disappointing. That would have been the one they needed. You know, we've talked about this breeze. It's probably worth 4 goals in the old language, and that would have been a handy goal.
So Sexton finds Christou. He's got another loose man. So Silvani now transfers the ball back. I mean, that's just unbelievable play by the Carlton defence. Keeping's off, not going anywhere, but Mackay finishes with the ball. Looking for Milhana. Starcevic couldn't get his hands to the ball, so Hanna now on the burst. He's got his foot on the accelerator. Here's Kernahan out in front. He's got it. You can't beat that. So it was good possession out of the back line in the end. They seemed to fiddle around with the ball. But Kernahan, I think we said after the first 2 goals that Robert Walls had a bit of trouble.
He hasn't got many options.
No, that's the problem.
Who
That's
else
his
for
trouble.
fullback?
Champions
Kennedy's
out.
got a bit of height. Does he go back there?
Has played at fullback. Kernahan's going short on the lead. He's found Spalding. Not the most reliable kick in the world. Earl.
And then again, is it the fullback's fault? Because it's midfield where they're getting carved up.
Well, I mean, the last 2 kicks to Kernahan have been absolutely sensational. I mean, Gow's dropped off him a couple of times, but man on man, he's done very well in the air on him.
So Spalding, not noted for his goal-kicking ability. High flyer down there was big Matthew Allen, but through for 1 point. I don't think I'd like Earl Spalding to have that Billy Brownless kick after the siren, Malcolm, when you were coaching the Cats to get you into a grand final.
No, I'd have to say that.
Andy Gowes has put the ball down here. He's not kicking in. What are we having, a blood rule? Yes, McIver going off the ground, way up the other end of the ground. Andrew Buse there on the bench. And it's Kennedy coming back on for the Bears. 35-2. The Blues have had a picnic with the breeze in the first quarter. Kick by Gowers holds up. Kernahan camped underneath it, nearly took the mark. The hand pass fired out to Ackermanis. Here's the teenager going for a run and a bounce. Up towards half forward. Ashcroft. Good spoil by Ange Christou, and the ball out of play.
Yes, they are a disciplined lot, the Carlton backline, aren't they? Dean, etc. 5 centre breaks there to the Brisbane Bears 0.
And Big Madden's off the ground having a break at the moment. Nallen's doing the centre work for the Blues. So it's on the half-forward flank for the Brisbane Bears. They're kicking down to the school end at the Gabba. That's against the breeze. I think we can see Carlton's midfield players there. 29-19 handballs. Williams and Bradley have been very, very good. Chance there for McRae of the Bears. Whitehead gets it out here to Allen. Across to Ratton, who was outstanding last week for Carlton against Footscray. Once more up to Kernahan, too strong in the air. So Kernahan now, he's booted 4, he's 50 metres out. It's a long bomb. Off target this time. But Malcolm, I think it is a hard decision now for Robert Walls who he can put back there. Andrew Buse sitting on the interchange bench, because he hasn't got much he can put back there, and Kernahan is such a big man.
Yes, he is. I suppose that's really the first time that he's really taken a strong big one. It just depends.
But he's going to take a few of them.
Well, if the ball's going to be down there all day, he's going to certainly take them.
Good mark by Lawrence, playing in his second game. The kick out to centre wing. He's cocked it up a few times, and this makes it tough for Ashcroft. Into Burke, back to Ashcroft. Up to half forward now. Christou front of the pack. It's punched away. 20-metre clearance. Starcevic loses it. The runner's away. Camporelli. Kernahan, it's Pearce this time on the lead. Can't take the mark. He's knocked to ground. Williams scoops it away from the opposition. Balks the hand pass. Well played, Greg Williams. Back to Hanna. 51 metres out. Short pass. Spalding right in front. And Earl Spalding only 35 metres out.
It's been very, very good, Hanna. Had 12 possessions already. It's been terrific. which is he's finding a lot of space. Kennedy's off the ground at the moment too. He really has given him a bit of a bath.
Well, he was benched, but he had to come back while McIver was getting blood treatment. So now Kennedy's on the forward line, but no wonder he was benched with Hannah being so dominant. Spalding for goal. It's getting right.
Right through.
Made it.
So it's...
Actually, Malcolm, on Milhana, he's another player who I think sometimes he's struggled when he's had to play key position. But if he's playing on the wing or he's playing half forward or half back, he's very, very good.
Yes, and so is this bloke very good. Have a look at that poise. I mean, it's just smarts, isn't it? Just being aware of what's around you. And Hannah does well, and a very good grab there. Although young Troy Clark, a bit small, had a few problems.
So Matthew Allen, who did so well last year for the Blues in the finals, looked a real player, starting to cement his place as Silvani just comes through, kicks it straight away back towards centre half forward. Kernahan's got a chance to kick his 5th goal. He's going to dribble it through. Well, Fred Fanning's record might be in danger today. 18 goals he kicked in the last game of 1947. It's been a long time, but with 5 on the board, let's multiply that by another 3, so that's 20 he's going to kick for the day.
Yes, I saw Bill Brownless kick 11 goals on this ground in a game here. From centre half forward, believe it or not, in a game against the Bears.
It's a record for this ground.
Yes, it is. And the ball really did carry, and I think that's what we're going to see. What we're going to see in this next quarter from the Bears. Perhaps their ball's going to carry a bit like that as well.
Just time here at the Gabba. Well, were the Blues any good then? Did the Breeze contribute everything to their scoreline? They were absolutely superb, Carlton. And Stephen Kernahan capped it off with 5 goals won in the opening term of Carlton's total of 7-6 to the Bears 2 behind. And David Parkin, hasn't he got something to work with here with the Blues? They look mighty. They lead 48-2 at the first break.
Footy with a difference. Join Sandy, Tim and Wayne on 4 Quarters. Friday nights on 7.
Nobody. Dares. Like. Bizarre.
First use of the Breeze, and look at that scoreline. 7-6-48 to 2 behind. Stephen Kernahan's kicked 5-1. Clappe's kicked 1 goal 1. And Spalding has kicked 1 goal 1. And nothing to report for the Bears. Matty Campbell, did you bring your boots? Are they polished?
They're polished, but I don't think they do very much good at the moment, Drew. David Parkin's very happy with the plan. The plan wants to get off to a good start, and they certainly did that. And Robert Walls is not a happy camper at the moment. And poor Justin Lepich, I know he's got red hair, but his ears will be burning at the moment. He copped a fearful serve.
Yeah, well, actually, here's a man who was in an interesting position because he was coach at Carlton when the Bears beat them at Princes Park. And it played a role in him getting the flick, didn't it?
When Gabba kicked the goal to give the Bears the game. Yes. Very, very undermanned today, the Bears side, though.
Yeah, but that's true. I mean, just having walked outside just to feel that breeze again, it is quite blustery going down to the right of screen that Carlton had in that quarter. They've had 89 possessions to the Bears 51, and that usually tells a story. Round midfield, Bradley, Hannah, just got too much of the footy.
Now, we saw Greg Williams go down at a centre bounce. Didn't quite see the incident. Let's have another look at Diesel going down right in the centre circle. Ooh, oh, accidental boot in the air.
Dion Scott.
Well, no blame to be attributed there, and he looks okay. No blood, so that's good.
Talking to David Parkin on Talking Football on Monday night last week, just talking about young Allen coming on and relieving Madden. It's been terrific. You know, just gives them a bit of life. Now, I said to him that it looked as though a few goals come during that time Allen came on, and the same thing's happened again today, that when Madden goes off, those goals come a bit late.
Well, they don't lack much in height. I know Madden is one of the tallest players who ever played the game, but Allen is such a big bloke himself, very athletic, and it's probably going to add maybe another season or two to Madden's career.
Umpire number number 9, Brian Sheehan. 4 grand finals behind him. Bounces. Burke beats Madden in the middle. Ashcroft runs straight onto it. This is the Bears' chance with the breeze. Right to full forward. Back of the pack. A chance here. Running onto it. Starcevic hooks it back. And they're on the board. And it took about 12 seconds.
Once again, they kicked him.
Start to a quarter than that. Might have been a great quarter-time speech by Robert Walls. Burke once more wins the tap. So here they come again. Good kick out of that centre by Ashcroft. Down. Big mark.
Is this the same game of football? And the same 2 teams playing it?
Well, he has been just a great player, and he's really filled that position down there with Alistair Lynch. We see Ashcroft kicking the ball down and up over the top of his teammate there in Starcevic, McIver. Kicked 6 goals last week, 5 the week before. He's the leading goal kicker with the Bears. He's kicked 12 in the first 3 games. And every now and then, you did this at Geelong, where you'd play someone like Tim Darcy at full forward for a couple of weeks, really fire up. Gavin Exel was another guy you put down there, Malcolm, and all of a sudden kicked a lot of goals in a very short space of time.
Yeah, so you can get a player that can actually read the game and lead. Very important kick this. They really do need this, the Bears, right now.
So they like it. So he's kicked his first goal, and the Bears, well, I tell you what, maybe they weren't so bad in the first quarter.
Well, as I said, I went out.
Here's Burke winning in the middle again to Voss. That's 1, 2, 3. Straight away the Bears have got it. It comes here to the youngster McRae. Hooks it high. Merritt. Can't quite take the mark. And we'll have a throw in the forward pocket. But whether you're into the breeze or with it, the ruckman getting it to the first touch of a rover. The Bears weren't doing that in the first quarter, and they've done it 3 times in a row.
No, I've heard a ruckman say that once, that there's probably no need for anyone else if I do my job right.
Is that the bloke out there playing for the Bears at the moment?
I think it was.
Ashcroft, left footer. He centres it. A good kick to the point of the square. Chance here, the Bears. Well, maybe there are 18 sets of burning ears out there, not just Justin Lepage, because they've come out and they've torn Carlton apart in the first couple of minutes of this second quarter. But still, 7-6 Carlton. 2 goals to the Bears. Well, the ball hit the deck. Ruckman didn't get a touch. Merritt applying the tackle. Ball, yelled the crowd. The umpire will ball it up again.
Actually, I was just thinking that Merritt and Madden standing there together, the 2 oldest blokes in footy, I suppose, nearly total 70 years. Sorry, fellas.
Well, one of the old stages got it. He roved it. That's how young he's feeling. Chance here for Camporelli. Starcevic. Got plenty of support there. Ackermanis, but Dean intercepts. Back to Camporelli. So a lot of quick hands. Clappe gives it across here to Kutafiti. So the Blues going forward for the first time this quarter. Good punch away here by White, away from Earl Spalding. So the Bears have certainly gone up a notch. It's amazing what a couple of goals can do to the confidence. Andrew Busey on the bench with Dion Scott. Scott had 5 operations over summer. Can you believe that? Just to play league football. You've got to really admire some of these guys. Ashcroft at ground level. Fletcher just at that critical moment. Kutafiti's over the top.
What an eye job. Tummy tuck.
He had a knee. He had 2 operations on his ankle. 1, I think, on his shoulder. 5 operations. It's incredible.
Burke winning again. Ashcroft concedes ground to White. The hand pass to Voss needs to be quick, and is. McLean up towards centre half forward. Michael McLean. Lepage almost pushed into it. O'Sullivan on the ground for Carlton. Goes to ground. Clearing kick by Allen. Goes to Williams. He's got Spalding wide at half forward flank. He's got Kernahan near the goal square. He kicks into the man White. It rebounds. Lawrence, good hand pass. McRae back to White. Kick by White. Space here for the Bears. Ackermanis. Clean bowl back there with Sexton. Ackermanis again. Paddles the ball. Merritt tries to go off the ground. Silvani. Caught the tackle by McIver. Balls out of the crowd. Nothing doing. Sexton clears for the Blues. Hannah lapping his opponent now. Hannah left it behind. Lappin stumbled. Oh, Hannah took one high. He's down. No free kick, and the umpire is going to ball it up.
Interesting, few players slipping over, Drew. That overnight rain and early rain this morning, as mentioned by Matthew Campbell, it really just has the grounds in almost perfect condition, but it is just a bit slippery on top. and a few players are slipping over.
And there's an example of Hannah just falling over and spread eagling himself. Marcus Ashcroft, originally from Melbourne, just pushed out of the way here by Madden. Back to Hannah, who absolutely started in the first term with 12 possessions. Young Lappin has the job on him now. So Carlton really struggling to get the ball onto their forward line.
Scoreless in 6 minutes this quarter.
McRae gets it back to Lappin, a young kid from Chilton in his second year of league football. And Roger Merritt down there controlling the traffic. There's Scotty McIver. Great mark and goal this quarter. Andrew Buse, the former skipper of the Cats, warming up, and at Sportsbook, Carlton 4-1 on to beat Brisbane at National Sportsbook. Pushing and shoving. Merritt's great pass master of that. Here's a chance for McRae. Quick snap. The kid from Glenelg. He's popped it through.
Is there.
So the Bears have kicked all 3 goals in this second quarter, and Carlton are scoreless after they led by 46 at quarter time. Ackermanis, another one to slip down. It goes to Hannah. His kick covers some distance into the breeze. It bounces to full forward. Gowers gets it away from Kernahan. Well done by Clark to White. Perfect kick by White. Ashcroft, half-back flank. His kick up short of centre-half forward. Starcevic up high. Should have taken the mark. Silvani. Hand pass. Missed the target. Gleeson gathered. Bradley run down. Loses it in the tackle. Clark, well done to Hart. The kick by Hart. A very high ball. Merritt's there. Crunches the pack. Silvani working desperately. Dean can't clear the area. Starcevic again. It clears the pack. It's close, just offline, and through for a minor score. Starcevic 1-1. The Bears look rejuvenated. Looks as though the team swapped jumpers at quarter time.
I think they just swapped ends, really.
So Sexton finds Silvani. He's got a loose player here, and it's Whitehead. So Adrian Whitehead just trying to make his mark with the Carlton side. Nice kick into the breeze. Out wide, Koutafides interfered with. Hannah at ground level. Terrific in the opening term. Fallon's fine sporting. Dropped the sitter. The Sherrin just wouldn't stick. Chance now for Gleeson at ground level. Just weaving around, dances around. His ball comes back to Koutafides. Chance for Sporting. Gets it back to Koutafides. They're 60 metres out. Chance here. Dropped in short and Clappe marks. So he's on the 50-metre line. He won't get the distance. Got a loose man. Backing back here is Ratton. Flight of the ball kicked off the ground by Big Burke. Diego Maradona would have been thrilled with that. Went to Clark, goes out wide. 2 to beat out here. He does it well. Ange Christou got a chance to pick up. Kicks off the ground here. Hart's in there. Bradley, always good at ground level. Tunnel balls it out to Christou. Down towards Big Madden there. Burke applies the pressure. Oh, Fletcher heads for the safety of the boundary line. And we've got a throw in. So Fletcher started his career with Geelong, went to St Kilda. He's finding his best form of his career with the Brisbane Bears. Madden to the front of the pack. Dean with a quick kick out of the pack.
Come on, Andy.
Coming out this time is Gowers, playing in front. Read it well, better than Kernahan. Kicks it well out of danger. Oh, great mark to Bradley. He's actually a better mark than people give him credit for, Craig Bradley.
Yes, Troy Clark's got the job on him, and just let him around a little bit in this opening quarter and a bit.
So, play on, says the umpire. So Bradley has to kick hurriedly down to Kernahan. Just shaded his eyes from the sun. Ratton's in there, so's Magic McLean over the top. And we've got a ball up 55 metres out from Carlton's goal. And they're kicking against the breeze, which we thought was maybe 3 or 4 goals. We're starting to think it's a 7-goal breeze now.
Well, I think it's important now that the Bears do hold them out this quarter if they're going to get on top this quarter.
Carlton
to Madden in the ruck. Played by umpire Brian Shea. Carlton scoreless this quarter. The Bears have added 3 goals, 1. Well, he could have taken the mark, Andy Gowes, but his punch goes straight to McLean. Kick by McLean. Burke. Big leap, but couldn't mark. And it's out of bounds at half-back flank for the Bears.
Now, I'll be interested to watch this ruck contest here, Malcolm, because I'm always amazed the way ruckmen allow to shepherd each other, put their arms across in front of their opponent. I mean, if that's not shepherding before the ball is thrown in, I'll go he.
Actually, Koutafidis won the tap. Spalding spins out of trouble. Ratton's hand pass dropped a bit short and a good tackle by White. Koutafidis to Madden. Sidestepping Harry Madden. The pass too high for Camporelli. McAdam. Ackermanis. The kick by Ackermanis is pinpoint to Burke. He takes the mark just behind centre wing. Up towards half forward to Starcevic with Dean. Dean punches out of bounds.
What do you think, Malcolm, with ruckman? Do you think they should actually just go for the ball? All this grappling with one another and putting their arms and wrapping them around?
Yes, centre break says we look down that quarter. Yeah, I do, Kevin. I think that these two are pretty big fellas, and I suppose they're looking for that same piece of turf to keep in front to get that advantage.
So here's a chance. Voss. His dad played with Richmond under-19s. Kicks the ball back here to Ashcroft. Couldn't take it all. Going in very hard there was Silvani. Chance for Dean to fire out the hand pass to Mitchell onto Whitehead. So the Blues away. They've got a loose man out wide. So they've got a chance now. It's Pearce playing against his old club, the former Frankston kid. Goes short. Backing back is McAdam. Playing in front, of course, the ball is holding up in the breeze now. So that's what you've got to do. Play in front. Gowers comes away, gaining a bit of confidence. Out wide. Not taken this time by Ackermanis. So Koutafidis ducks back. Kicks a high ball here. Chance for McAdam to punch to the front of the pack. Coming through there was Fletcher. Good play by Voss out to McAdam. So now they're starting to run the ball out of defence. Back to Magic McLean and a long kick down into the danger zone for the Blues. But backing back is Mr. Dependable Peter Dean, and he gives it off to Christo. He goes short, and Pearce, who's a pretty fair player.
Kick by Pearce up towards half forward. Clappe. Awkward half volley. Picked it up well. Around Voss. Hasn't had a great day yet, Michael Voss. Here's White. Goes for the boundary line, doesn't find it. Sexton on the forward line. Keeps it in, centres. Goes past Williams. McAdam is there. Turned the wrong way. Caught by Bradley. In goes Williams. It spills clear. And a hand pass by Clark to White. Ackermanis, the youngster, takes the mark in his first game. Plays on with distance. Over centre wing. Christou punches away but doesn't get it out. Silvani there. He'll be happy to see it out. And a throw in at half forward for the Bears. We have 9.5 minutes remaining to half time. The Bears have done all the scoring in this second quarter, but Carlton still leads 7-6 to 3-3.
So Starcevic this time has a chance to grapple there with Madden. Whitehead picks up. Nicely done. Spalding, but coming through. Big Burke. Actually, it's been a shame that he's had so many injuries, Malcolm, because he was a wonderful player at his top for the Cats.
Yes, indeed he was.
I know, talking to the Geelong boys, they still speak in awe of him with his toughness at the ball. They all certainly walked a little bit taller. Whitehead has a wild hand pass to Williams. Hasn't quite been in the game this quarter after that heavy knock in that first term. Got a boot in the head from Dion Scott. Accidental. Kicks it out wide. A chance for Hannah. So making space is Clappe. He must put it out in front. He's looking for a kind chest mark. He gets it lace out. No bruising that time. So Clappe down forward. Gowers now playing in front of Kernahan into the breeze. Good play, son. Comes away. Gets the ball cracked back. So now the Bears working out of defence. Young Lawrence. Been good in that first term. His kicking does let him down. Up towards the half-forward flank. The Bears now certainly have lifted their rating. Here's Sean Hart. Gets it back to Starcevic. Great last week for the Bears. Thumps the ball back towards Merritt. Merritt at the back of the pack. Is he going to kick a goal? Can't get his boot to the ball. And he gets a free kick. So Roger the Dodger. Oldest man in league football.
Yes, there'd been as we look at that in replay, certain push in the back. There'd been 7 or 8 minutes there of just nothing, wasn't it? I mean, the Bears' defence did hold up, and now to break that deadlock with a goal is a very, very important play as we see Allen come on the ground. And this is where Carlton, early in that first quarter, late in the first quarter, kicks some more goals. It'll be interesting to see what Allen does now.
Particularly against the Blues.
Yes.
So Roger Merritt, who did 6 goals in the first 2 games. So he averages around about 3 a game over the last couple of years, and he's popped it through.
In the second quarter, the Bears have kicked 4 goals to none. Fletcher out of the middle, goes across the ground to centre wing. Voss trying to nudge Koutafides out. Koutafides got it to Mitchell, who came off the bench. Barry Mitchell, his left footer inside 50. Allen takes the mark. Diesel says go on with it. Diesel gets it and centres rather than going for goal. Kernahan still a chance. Spalding 12 metres out, concedes some ground. The Rhino snaps and misses. Up behind. Well, what about Williams? Should he have gone for the goal himself?
Well, sometimes you can be too unselfish, Malcolm. I thought that Williams made a mistake by going onto his left boot instead of cutting in and going onto his right foot, because he had plenty of space and there was no one in front of him.
It would appear that way, didn't it? But you make those decisions, I suppose, and you've got to live with them.
So Luke O'Sullivan, who started the game on the bench, that's Carlton's first score in this second quarter, and gee, it took them a long time, about 17.5 minutes.
And Troy Clark just kicking that ball out towards the centre wing position. He's had 8 possessions. Robert Walls moved him into defence against Adelaide and was voted best on the ground after playing most of his career as a rover wingman. So he's got a new lease of life in defence. And Matthew Allen, as the man Malcolm said, might just change the course of events for the Blues in this second term. Although Big Burke did beat him for that opening centre bounce knockout again. Big kick down. Here's Kernahan in front, and being in front with the ball, just dropping short, able to take that chest mark. Now it's doubtful whether he'll make the distance. He's got a loose man out wide as Mackay's come all the way down from half-back. Good running by the champion half-back flanker, all-Australian. He's looking for Mitchell, also making space. Now he's no closer to goal, but certainly is now directly in front. Will he make the distance here, Malcolm?
If there is a problem, he's not the longest kick in the competition. He's a fairly strong breeze.
So it's going to hold up. Kernahan there, but Big Burke, who's just been superb in this quarter. He's been the catalyst for the Brisbane Bears. He's really taken on both Madden and Allen and given the Bears first use of the ball. So it's a high ball. It's kicked it. He's actually opened up the centre-half forward position again. I think he meant to go wider. Voss there. Good, strong play through. Here's Bradley, still working hard. Back to Mackay. He's in the centre of the ground. He's going out wide once more. Looking for out here. Oh, Mitchell there, backing back. Couldn't take it. Voss in there. Beats Spalding for the ball and is able to hit it over the line for a throw-in.
Michael Voss gets a pat on the head from teammates for a job well done, finding the boundary line there. Hughes about to come back again. Boundary throw in at half forward for Carlton. Spalding and Burke. Oh, gee, Damien Burke is going to be tired at the end of this day. Free kick to the Bears. And McAdam to take it from half back. Pretty crowded centre wing area. Pokes it up short. And Hughes has just come off the bench, so he walked on about 3 metres and took the mark. Now to centre wing. Burke is there, but he's swamped from behind. The ball close to the boundary line and out of play.
Well, big Dion Scott has been brought into the ruck. And when Hughes came on, then Big Burke just stepped over the boundary line just to have a little bit of a breather. We see Adrian Gleeson also getting some treatment. Burke been fantastic this quarter, so can Dion Scott do the same thing for the Bears? Matthew Allen fires out the hand pass to Christo. Quick hands back to Mackay. Well backed up by Koutafides. So Carlton, can they kick a goal against the Breeze? Kernahan from behind. It's at the back of the pack. One for the speedsters here, but no. Oh, tunnel balls it back by Spalding. In goes McAdam. Strong, gutsy play. Knocks the ball and gets the free kick. And Spalding's hurt his shoulder. So McAdam has the free kick. Broke his jaw last year, McAdam. So he hasn't lost any of his courage here. So he just drives the ball back towards the wing on the outer side of the ground. Big punch away by the Blues. Coming through there, Scott gets the ball down to young Lappin. So the youngster from Chilton made such a big impression last year. Kicks it out wide to space. Dean runs onto the ball. Starcevic just using his body but can't take control.
Isn't that fantastic play from Dean then? I mean, he just got in front and then just pushed the ball to the boundary line. Very, very good defensive player. for Carlton.
He's had a great season this year.
Third in their best and fairest last year after missing out on the grand final with that bad foot injury, so his has been a terrific comeback.
He's kicked 3 goals actually this year, Peter Dean, in 3 games. Here's Hannah from half-back. Man in front, Spalding. He was dead a minute ago. Good mark.
They just gave him a drink of Lewis water.
Kicked by Spalding. Working it short into the breeze. Mitchell takes a crunch in the back. Mark or free kick. 2 or 3 kicks to goal from there. By Barry Mitchell. Close to the boundary line. Too wide for Kernahan. He's got it though. On the 50. Oh, it's a bit of a throw. He flipped that ball up in the air. And lucky to get away with it. It's out of bounds, a throw-in. Stephen Kernahan kicked 5 goals in the first quarter. O'Sullivan has kicked their only score in this quarter and is now benched again. He's kicked it behind. Hurried kick out of the pack, bounces in the goal square. Now, who was that, Bell?
I think Brett Bratton.
Like I said,
Certainly doing well at the centre bounces. Here's a chance for McIver. He's kicked 1 goal after a great mark. Back to Ashcroft, centres the ball. Coming out is Sexton. Been a good player, second best and fairest winner with the Blues. Short to Ratton, missed a lot of football last year with a bad knee injury. Seen as a very important player. Look at Silvani go in hard. And he gets the free kick. Not quite certain whether the free kick was there. He certainly attacked the ball very strongly, but he's got it. So son of Serge has been also in outstanding form this year. By Sexton. Very underrated player, Michael Sexton.
Yes, he is. They just have a bit of trouble, the Bears, with the centre-half forward. They just don't take enough marks there, do they?
And the Diesel says, well, I can take a mark. Handball's off to Bradley. Kicking off the ground. Here's a chance here for Clappe. It's dribbling along the ground. It's going to bounce through. Well, after no goals being scored down at the school end, all of a sudden the Blues have kicked 2 goals in 2 minutes against the Breeze, and there's Clappe, who's been a very, very fine pickup for Carlton this year.
As we watch Williams give out those quick handball, and Clappe didn't panic here. He just really helped it on its way for 2 goals. Once again, isn't it Matthew Allen? I've seen Carlton play a couple of times, and this is what seems to happen to them. For some unknown reason, sometimes by just changing the bloke in the middle, goals come. I can't explain it. It happens.
He's good. He won that tap out as well. Blues haven't got the ball now, but it's not his fault. Buse pulled off his kick. Here's Fletcher. Bradley working hard. Kutafides working hard. Whistle hasn't gone. Play on, boys. And now the umpire says, give it to me. I'll ball it up. Umpire number 9, Brian Sheehan. Jason Dunstall's mate.
O'Sullivan on the bench with Madden.
Look at the pack around this ball up now. Kutafides the ruckman. Mitchell to Hannah. Up to the 50. Gleeson comes from behind but can't spoil. Fine mark taken in front by White. Across the half-back line he goes. To Troy Clark up from defence. Clark going for a bounce. Bradley will run you down. His pass is good. McIver too far out to score. Hand pass a bit slick for Ackermanis. He had to go backward. Has lost it. Silvani the hand pass. Pearce fumbles. Ratton works his way through the pack. Allen, good vision. Any amount of Blues out here. Pearce has to wait. He got a bad bounce and they've lost it. Hart back to Clark. Kicked by Clark. And Scott takes the mark on the cricket pitch where Queensland won the Sheffield Shield.
Did you back him, Drew, to win the Sheffield? Look at the fly down here by Mackay. Here's a chance at ground level. Merritt there. Might have been playing for the free kick. Ball comes back out to Sexton. Throws the ball virtually as he's slung to the ground. And we've got a throw in, and there's the Diesel. Just a little bit.
But it was a great drought-breaking performance. It was better than Collingwood's drought and whatever.
Just getting back to centre-half forward. Starcevic playing there is more a leading top. I just wonder with Scott on the ball now, him playing centre-half forward just might be that big fella that can take a mark and put Burke back into ruck. They just don't get enough easy balls in the air.
And McRae with a quick kick out of the pack has kicked it over the line. And in fact, Starcevic has also been a player who's done, I think, well when he's played as a flanker and as a person just swooping in on the ball.
Yep. Oh,
Hannah up high. He's claiming the mark, and umpire Sheehan says, yes, I'll pay it. So he's had a terrific game, Mil Hannah. He's had 17 possessions, and a big fly over the top there of Koutafidis, his teammate. So Clappe trying to mark, Mitchell on hands and knees, trying to establish himself back in this Carlton side. The free kick will go back here to Clappe. Andrew Hughes just wouldn't let go. Back to Koutafidis. So some rebound football. Another goal here before the siren out towards Mitchell. There goes the siren. So a terrific last 5 minutes by the Blues to give them a good break at half-time. 9-7-61. 34-point lead. Brisbane 4-3-27. So after all that good work in that first 25 minutes of that quarter, just seems to have gone to waste with those 2 late goals by Carlton.
Still, the margin that was 46 points at quarter time is now back to 34 points. And the crowd very vocal as the umpires go off at half-time. They're not very happy with what's been going on. But
I often thought the umpires should go on the opposite side of the members area, every home ground, just in case.
For what it's worth, free kicks are 13-9 in favour of Carlton. But there it is, 61-27 at half-time, Carlton in charge.
For the first time, Monday night footy. Richmond and North Melbourne from the MCG. Right here on 7.
Live from the Gabba.
Well, look at that half-time score. Carlton 9-7, the last 2 goals of the first half. Brisbane 4 goals 3. Well, they looked like reeling them in for a while there, but then they stopped and the Blues got the last 2. To half-time, Kernahan's kicked 5, Clappe 2, singles to Ratton and Spalding, and for the Bears, singles have come from McRae, McIver, Starcevic and Merritt.
7 Sports is proud to present this match as part of the 1995 Coca-Cola AFL Premiership season.
Well, Malcolm, it looked like a cricket score to nothing in the first quarter, but I've found it an entertaining game.
I believe that too. Just a pity. I mean, I'm not saying this from a Carlton point of view, just from the game's point of view. Those last 2 goals really were significant in the context of the game.
But they look good, the Blues, don't they? I know Kernahan's been on the end of it all and been taking the marks, and we've been yahooing about him, but the midfield, Bradley, one of them, Williams, gee, they've made it easy for him, particularly in that first quarter.
Yeah, that was a great kick from Kernahan. Virtually the first goal at the 5-minute mark of that quarter. The Gow's has done okay in the air, but I mean, at ground level, Pearce has been lively up forward, does show some skill, and of course this young fella coming from the Eagles has kicked 2 goals. This is the first one he got in the first quarter. I think more players should do that, run around, practice at it training. It's a fantastic skill if you can do it. The person is stuck to the boundary line, so you've really got to move the footy. Once again, in the first quarter, it was all Carlton kicking 7 goals. And Stephen Kernahan occasionally gets one of these because you read it better. Champions seem to do that. And 5 goals in that first quarter told it all. Now, this is the Bears little bit early in the quarter with Ashcroft bursting out of the centre. Scotty McIver taking a fantastic mark and then went back and kicked the goal. Probably didn't get a lot of opportunities up forward in that second half of that second quarter. So, therefore, they've only kicked the 4 goals. Here's Starcevic kicking the ball forward, and this is Roger Merritt. Has an airy, but he's pushed in the back, an obvious free kick, and went back and kicked the goal. And it looked good there. No, we're going to be close.
You expressed some concerns about centre-half forward for the Bears. Not a rap for Starcevic?
No, he just plays it differently, and I think sometimes with a fair breeze behind you, a long kick to centre-half forward with a good marking player like a Kennedy might be okay. Looking at the stats, of course, they really dominated that first quarter, Carlton. The Bears have come back, but gee, that's still 20, that's still 50 possessions difference, so they really have been down. They've chipped the ball around a bit more, Carlton, as they are liable to do, so 20 more marks. And out of the centre hit-outs, the Bears, mainly through Damien Burke, 10 centre hit-outs to 2 from Carlton.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
No, well, he's got his hands on a lot of balls. He's played pretty well, I reckon.
Does it make the role of the ruckman redundant? Can you win that clearly in the ruck and lose on the scoreboard?
No, I don't think so. I think that I'd rather have it going our way than against you.
OK. Well, another game being played today in Melbourne at Princes Park, Optus Oval. It's between Melbourne and Footscray, and Terry Wheeler's our man.
Thank you, Drew. Well, the game has got away here with Melbourne kicking with the aid of a slight breeze, but it was Footscray to the breeze who got actually the first goal through Richard Osborne. They had set themselves up with Grant at centre-half forward and David Needs hooking there, Osborne at full forward and Ben Sexton alongside. So both sides went with the talls in the forward line, with Melbourne going with Jim Steins in there. But here's the build-up to the first goal, where Footscray come around through the wing through Johnson and flicks over the back, and Richard Osborne, who does that goal so very, very well, bending himself around. So at this stage we have Melbourne have jumped away to the lead, but only ever so slightly. 1-9 to 1-17.
Thank you, Wheels. We'll hear from you a little bit later. And from the Gabba, with the Blues in charge, but run down slightly in the second quarter, we'll take a break here and be back soon.
Blight, Sheehan and McAvaney. Talking footy. Every Monday night on 7.
A game coming up later this afternoon is at Football Park in Adelaide, where the Adelaide Crows take on the premiers, the West Coast Eagles. It should be a ripper over there, and many network stations taking a telecast of that after this game from the Gabba. But live from Football Park at the moment, we can take you over to Neil Curley. Here at the Gabba, Carlton 9-7-61 leading the Bears. 4 goals, 3-27. Down on the boundary line, Matthew Campbell.
Thanks, Drew, and no injuries to report from either camp, and Robert Wall surprisingly quiet at half-time. Interesting, Drew, the Bears' best quarter statistically is the third quarter, so it'll be interesting to see whether they can come out and do that.
Yep, well, they need to score some goals into the breeze. Maybe equal what Carlton did in the second quarter. A couple might keep them in it, as long as Carlton don't kick about 12. Start of the third quarter here. Madden will ruck for about the first half of the quarter and then be replaced by Allen. Off the ground goes McRae out to centre wing. Here's Hannah, who's had an absolute picnic. Passes to Kernahan and he marks on the 50. And the third quarter starting ominously like the first quarter.
Wasn't that a great kick? Just measured it, let Kernahan run onto it, and sometimes those marks look a lot easier than what they really are. But Kernahan with that wonderful pair of hands. Just a great kick to the right spot.
Well, he proved he could goal from this spot in the first quarter. He'll be kicking from all of 50 metres, and he'll have to aim it just about at the left-hand goal post. He's kicked well today. Look at that. 6 goals to the skipper. Just what the Bears didn't need.
No, interestingly, Hannah ended up with the ball. He's now playing on, as we watch this just again, he didn't race in. The Bears' opponent did, and so Hannah therefore had the space with that kick off the ground, and once again Kernahan did the rest. But Sean Hart playing now on Hannah, who's had a few opponents today. He's got to be careful not overcommitting himself into the middle of the ground.
So Big Burke, who was outstanding that first half, beaten this time, taken away by Bradley. So the side kicking with a breeze has opened in every quarter. Here's a chance for Kernahan. Gives the ball back to Gleeson. Into the pocket. Easy mark should be taken here by White. Wants to transfer the play back outside of this member side. Lawrence, who was very good. Only a youngster playing his second game, and a good mark by Ashcroft. So Malcolm, maybe they've got to start maybe bottling the ball up, the Bears, because Carlton with a strong breeze, they might have to make the game not an attractive one. Hart with that ball, kicks deep. Front of the pack was Sexton. Bradley. Does he cover some space, Bradley? He was at centre-half forward a few moments ago. The hand passes a poor one, a chance for Pearce, though, to win it at centre-half back to Sexton. Just couldn't take it in the hands. Got some support from Christo. McAdam with that quick kick out of the pack. In front there, Starcevic just couldn't take it. Dean, the veteran, once more taken away here by young McRae, paddling the ball along in front. He's got 3 to beat. Look at the numbers here. The kid's doing a great job. Numbers might win out in the end. No. Ashcroft comes through. So now support from McLean. The Bears go forward. Merritt's the target. He's underneath the ball. Slight nudge out there by Silvani. So Serge, he's got a short out wide, he's looking for Pearce. So half-back flank, so he runs on the old 1-2, onto the left boot now, trying to create a bit of space, down towards Bradley. Been absolutely superb. McAdam wearing him like a glove. Gets the ball back to Pearce in the back, must take the free kick.
And a bit of pushing and shoving going on. Well, Bradley's been great all day, but got to start to this third quarter too. Kick by Pearce. Just over centre wing. Nice mark by Lawrence. Stephen Lawrence. 18-year-old. Up to half forward. Starcevic gets there. Can't take the mark. It's going to be a Bears free kick to Merritt, who held front position and was interfered with. Roger Merritt about 3 kicks to goal from there. Just forward of the wing. Burke dropping in short. He's kicking the men who are covered. Starcevic, Madden gets there to fill the hole. Brings the ball to ground. Dean, but he walked it over before he got rid of the hand pass, and will have a throw in just outside 50.
Yes, it's an interesting tactic, Kevin, as a coach, isn't it? Whether you try and bottle it up or whether you try and chip it and run the ball up and try and score yourself. You know, 7 goals down. It's not impossible at this stage. If they can bottle it up from here and get a goal or two themselves, they really are with a big chance in the last quarter.
So Big Burke couldn't get the knockdown cleanly, taken by Lappin. Here's a chance for Voss. It's been dispossessed. Christo around the corner. Bradley just feeds it off back to Madden. Christo once more tackled. Strong tackling by the Bears. Hard up on the boundary line. Pearce gets tumbled into the ground. So Ashcroft and Pearce, they were teammates last year. Not teammates this year.
These two big fellas have been at it all day, haven't they? It's just...
Tell you what, Hulk Hogan would have been happy with that hold there, I reckon. I reckon that was a step over toe hold they had on each other.
While the ball's out of bounds, Bloody, how do you bottle it up? What do you do to stop a team who's got the breeze?
Well, I think you just play defensive side and you only ever play that side. Never come back into the middle, never do anything. Just keep bottling it up.
So you'd reckon far wing, just keep it over the other side of the ground, underneath the Clem Jones side.
Yes, unfortunately this one's got out.
Here comes Gleeson, passing to Kernahan. He dropped one. Well, he was in front position, had the stretch, should have taken the mark. Fletcher to White. Now McAdam. And the Bears couldn't work it out of defence into the breeze. By now Kernahan should have been pulling up his socks and kicking for goal. Centre wing and Burke takes the mark. They're running it all right, the Bears. This is Craig McRae, the Glenelg recruit, with plenty of toe. A very high ball into the breeze. It holds up. Merritt! Second touch, no mark. Comes to ground level. McKay's hand pass. Actually, Whitehead had his back to it and gave it away to McLean. McLean breaks a tackle. A chance for the Bears here. Off the left boot. Merritt's doubled up. Starcevic. Punch to the front. McIver, he's the man. He's the goal-kicking man. But no, out of bounds. No score.
I thought you're at the golf then, at the Masters, every time they hit off, they go, you're the man.
You're the man. Well, he's riding a hot streak at the moment, but not for that one.
So Silvani looks for the big talls out there in Madden. Punched away there by Burke. Dean takes the mark. He's been superb. He's been just terrific after missing out in that final series 2 seasons ago. Mackay, very strong back line for the Blues. Kicks the ball out wide, not such a good kick. Hart comes through. Mitchell, long raking hand pass, puts Hannah under a fair bit of pressure. Kicked off the ground here by Fletcher. He might be able to keep the ball in with a bit of shepherding here from McAdam. He does it well. Now has to go backwards to Lawrence. Lawrence gives the ball back here to McAdam. Goes short. Too short, in fact. And Mitchell takes the mark. He was great at the Sydney Swans. Won a couple of best and fairest awards there. Failed at Collingwood. Here's Voss, one of the most exciting youngsters. He's been their best player this year. This kid has got some toe. Maybe we mark him down for stall gift next year. Forget Crawford as McRae kicks the ball long. Up goes Silvani, tries to take a one-hander, but Mr. Dependable comes out. Dean rockets it back here to Mitchell. Here's the running Christo from half back. thumps the ball down towards centre forward. Kernahan's the target, covers over the back of the head. Chance for Clappe down there. Does well, traps the ball. McAdam comes in, works it hard out to Lawrence. He's been good. Sometimes his kicking lets him down, not this time. Hughes spent a lot of time on the bench, comes away. The Bears, can they kick a goal into the breeze? Comes away, he's had 4 bounces, bang, down goes Mitchell, hit hard. That time by Magic McLean, goes short, great play by Hughes. And at long last, they're flexing their muscles, the Brisbane Bears. Merritt at centre half forward, he's got a loose player on Lawrence. Make that hard. Sean Hart.
I don't think they're bottling it up, Kevin.
No, they're not. They certainly haven't got tuned in here to the Channel 7 box. They're going for broke.
What about the shepherd by McLean? I can't believe that Mitchell didn't see it coming. It was setting up for half an hour, wasn't it?
Yeah, normally you sense those things, but sometimes, he's obviously chasing very hard.
So Sean Hart, he's not on his preferred side. He's a left footer, but he's being able to squeeze it back. So that's a very important goal by the Bears.
19 possessions, but it was his man Sean Hart who got away and kicked the goal then. Bradley round the corner. Spalding spills the mark low down. O'Sullivan scoops. Mitchell over his head. Hughes is with him. Hart and Mitchell collide. O'Sullivan can't break the tackle. He's holding it. And the tackler, Darryl White. It's going back to White.
Oh, what a pity.
And I notice in the Carlton dugout is Greg Williams, so the diesel is off.
He had a very firm grip, didn't he, Darryl White? Now, the Bears have kicked eventually a goal into the breeze. It's 10-7 to 5 goals 3. Another one into the breeze in this quarter. If they can somehow restrict Carlton a little bit, they'll come home with the breeze. Gee, this game might be all over. McIver covering some ground. He's kicked half forward. Kennedy gets a bad bounce. Whitehead to McKay. Pearce setting up down the outer side.
It's too easy, isn't it?
Kernahan. And that was a pinpoint pass, 45 to 50 metres. And he loped into that. And Kernahan left Gowes to take a mark on his chest.
I think as we saw Pearce running down the ground then, Malcolm, you probably just muttered underneath your breath, too easy.
Yes, I did.
So,
Kernahan can't give the ball up like that. Scotty McIver, very experienced player, just gave it up, didn't he? Really a nothing kick.
Particularly kicking into the breeze because it's going to be rebounded so quickly with the breeze.
Kernahan for goal number 7. Distance 49 metres. Accuracy is there. It's another one. No, just missed. Attempt to pull those from 100 metres again. So that is 6 goals 2.
There's a fair bit of support for Carlton here today, isn't there? I mean, they do have a great following around the country and obviously been a great side over a number of years.
Well, I actually came to the game in a taxi with 3 ardent Carlton supporters. We all jumped in a cab together.
They pay?
No, I did. So underneath the ball there is Gleeson. Ashcroft just over the top there, and we've got a ball up. So with the breeze this quarter, Carlton has only kicked the 1 goal, and the Bears have also kicked 1 against it. And that goal came from Kernahan after about a minute of play. So Spalding, quick kick out of the pack, and Fletcher on O'Sullivan. Spent a lot of time on the interchange bench. They're looking for 50 metres, the Bears crowd. Goes wide and just transfers it. Lawrence. Been a very good player today, and that's a good kick because he's found down here Voss. He's got a chance to go over the top to McRae. This kid's got the pace. He'll take him on. Handballs to himself. He's caught this time, but what's your thoughts on that, Malcolm?
Interesting decision.
Handball to himself, got caught. So he kicks the ball deep. He's looking for, coming out here is Merritt. Crunch, bang, gets into the back. It's a free kick down here to Mackay.
I know Williams had a heavy knock, but is there a chance he's been dragged? He only had 9 possessions.
I wouldn't have thought he'd be dragged, particularly with the breeze. I think he's probably... that was a very heavy knock he got in that centre bounce. We see Mitchell with the ball, comes around that flank on the outer side of the ground. Playing in front this time is Magic McLean. We may even see that knock again later, but to get the full force of Dion Scott's boot in his face at that centre bounce, I think he did very well to even stay on the ground. Voss from the half-back flank. Kicks down, but over the top, too tall this time was Allen. Just reached over the top of Dion Scott. He's got a loose man in Gleeson. Now, they've done this fairly well, Carlton, with this loose player across midfield up here. And this man comes out, Spalding.
Well, the odds are that they'll probably get a goal now because Allen's back on the ground.
It's been the theory most of the day, hasn't it?
Great kick too from Gleeson, wasn't it? Earl Spalding, he is a bit of an enigma, isn't he? He can do that, and then occasionally he'll just drop that sitter one.
So his kicking has always been a little bit wayward, but on this occasion, he's popped it through.
Christo bottling him up and taking him to the boundary line. Stephen Lawrence, son of Barry Lawrence. Scott in ruck, gets it towards the goal square. Chance here for the Bears, but McKay has it, flips it off the ground. Hasn't quite cleared the 50 yet. Bradley, brilliant. It sits well for Allen. Now Gleeson. And Gleeson wide, he gave it straight away to Voss. And Michael Voss has it at half-back flank for the Bears. 74-33, Carlton in charge in the third quarter here at the Gabba. Clark over the head of Lawrence, can't take the mark, but recovers.
Oh.
Ackermanis, the first gamer, off the left boot, wide, too wide. McAdam is there, trying to keep it in, but the ball seen over the line.
Well, Gilbert there just saying, you know, maybe a little bit, just indicating with his hand, maybe just the kick a bit too far, but wonderful effort by the young kid Ackermanis. His first game of league football, they've got huge raps on him up here in Brisbane. All-Australian Teal Cup players, their youngest player on their list, also the quickest, as we'll see. Mackay kicks the ball wide, in fact too wide, and Troy Clark will take this resultant kick for the Bears.
But like Lawrence, Ackermanis gave it away with a wide kick. The disposal, they've got it all right, but they've disposed of it.
Now this puts under fierce pressure down here to Darryl White, but he's got the free kick. So White, he's had it 10 times so far, goes to the centre of the ground, finds Kennedy. Now here's a thumping kick into the breeze. This is a good one, down towards Merritt. Bundles out of the way. Here's coming through is McCallum, gets the ball back. Quick kick by Ackermanis here into the square, up high over the top there. It was hard, couldn't take it. So Silvani will just run the ball out. He's got a loose man here in Ratton. Backs his judgment, gives the ball back here to Christo. So bang on that left boot, kicks it long. Good 60 metres up towards Spalding, takes the front position, recovers well. The hand pass is wild, goes out here to McLean. He's got a loose man out here on the half-forward flank. Jung Lappin will take the free kick interfered with from Matthew Allen. So Nigel Lappin, his cousin, is at St Kilda. Young Matthew, so he kicks the ball down, 50-metre line. Punched away by Silvani, taken by Gleeson. Cross here to Hannah, who's been absolutely superb. But once more, the hand pass there is a wild one. So chance for Fletcher, gets it back to Kennedy. Gives it back here to Buse. Now Buse onto this left boot. Sees Merritt. Angles the ball back. Great effort here by Sexton. Kicked off the ground by McCallum. Here's a chance now. Ackermanis in the race for the ball. Can he pick it up on the boundary line? Gets it back towards McCallum. Hard up. Once more, he's got to go further forward. Back here to his teammate in McIver. Rockets the ball back to Ackermanis. Could have gone in himself. Gives it back here. Wild long shot for goal from Gilbert McAdam. And he's off target. And he's racing off the ground too, Gilbert. Whilst he was on the boundary line, he must have got the message. You're coming off. So he sprinted off the ground.
Actually, KB, while you're talking about cousins and family connections, Ackermanis playing his first game today. His cousin is Matthew Hayden, Queensland cricketer.
Whose last game was on this same ground.
Correct. Not a bad history-making game.
That's terrific.
Good mark out here by Dean. Sweeping hand pass to Andrew McKay. Up short of centre wing. Kernahan gets caught behind Gowers. Gowers just happy to get it away from his opponent, but it goes to O'Sullivan. He balks the hand pass, puts it to full forward. Voss almost hauls in a one-hander. Now he'll rush it behind. Well done, Michael Voss. He's unhappy with himself, actually, for dropping the mark.
Yes, Koutafidis and Voss, they've both played all right in patches, haven't they? It's almost two young superstars of the future who've really negated each other a bit.
Here's Voss. We have just under 6 minutes to three-quarter time. Another goal by the Bears into the breeze, and they wouldn't be right out of this contest. Scott running near centre wing, shares it with Ashcroft. He's run down by Ratton. High hand pass. Bradley works to the front. Scott gets free. Kennedy, well done. Like lightning to Hart, who's kicked the only goal for the Bears into the breeze in this game. This one floats across the face and goes through for a behind.
I think we've got to say that the Bears have done very well in this quarter. They've kicked 1 goal against the breeze, Carlton only 2 with the breeze. I would think David Parkin would be a little bit concerned.
Trouble here for Clark, Troy Clark for the Bears. I reckon he's done a knee, and I reckon they're calling for a stretcher.
So Mackay there has the ball, but play is going to be held up here. And he's in a fair amount of pain. So Troy Clark, who has been moved into defence this year by Robert Walls and has really found his niche there, but this doesn't look good for him. And we see Clark there just going up just fell awkwardly in there, trying to spoil Craig Bradley. And it's so easy to do a knee just in that little contest there, Malcolm, that it's not always a bone-crunching tackle or along those lines, but that was just an awkward way his foot hit the ground.
Yes, and I must admit I saw Matthew Armstrong do that for North Melbourne in the night series, and he actually came back on and played very well in the grand final the following week. So let's just hope for the young fella's sake that it's not that bad, and perhaps it's just a bit of a strain, a bit of a jerk.
Oh, desperately bad luck.
Well, it was because they're actually, I think the Bears have just started to lift the rating a little bit, and have a look at it's the right leg. After the left leg had hit the ground, the right leg looking for that extra bit of ground, and that shifting sand, or grass I should say, or dirt, just spread it a bit.
They've had bad luck with the Clarks, haven't they, the Bears, because they lost Matthew Clark during the week. Well,
they've had their whole season has been a little bit decimated in terms of injuries early on. Craig Lambert broke his leg in the Ansett Cup and hasn't played a game. You say before, Matthew Clark, Ross Lyon has missed his 2nd week in a row. Richard Champion's out, and Alistair Lynch, who is their superstar forward's been missing also with a bad virus.
He hasn't really got warmed up, Lynch, has he yet?
The other thing that we should say too is that the Carlton defence has been fantastic. And I looked around before, and there was Merritt, McIver, Starcevic, another tall. There are 5 talls when McRae went for his dash before. So there's just looks as though the balance is not quite right up there into the breeze.
Well, they might be testing this final term the strength of Carlton, their back line. Whitehead marks that long kick from Mackay. So he's in the centre of the ground at the Gabba. They're kicking with a breeze down towards the City and the Blues. They've only kicked 2 goals this quarter. Oh, but you've always got a chance when you've got this man playing for you. Been their leading goal kicker. Malcolm mentioned it before, in every year that he's played league football. So this is his 10th year, and there's Kernahan over the top.
8 marks coming up for his 11th kick.
And he's kicked 6 goals, 5 goals in that first term. 1 in this 3rd quarter. From memory, only Simon Beasley has topped his goal kicking at his club in every year that he's played, along with Kernahan. Now this kick is going to come back. That is a great kick by the skipper.
Out of the middle for the Blues. Dumped on the seat of his pants. Oh, beautiful mark here to Spalding. Kutafini's running past. Gets another one. 2 in 15 seconds.
Well, this is what they did in that 2nd quarter, Malcolm, just towards the end of the quarter. A couple of quick goals.
Yes, it was certainly a carbon copy, and once again, Allen got his hand on the ball there, and you would... Well, Sporting, this enigma, just great stuff in the middle of the pack. And Kutafidis hasn't broken clear many times, but can kick a goal and nailed that one.
You're very casual then, Spalding. And Allen wins the tap out. Mitchell, hurried kick on that left boot. Gleeson in front. Good punch way by Buse. So at ground level, a chance for the Bears to come away. Magic McLean. Mackay's taking the front position. A bit of courage shown down there by McAdam, but taken by Bradley. Back to Mitchell. Certainly he can accumulate possessions. Here's the Rhino. Spent a fair amount of time on the bench, so he's fresh. And here's the Enigma.
He's been a very good player, really.
He is a very good player. It was great at Melbourne. Up here towards Kernahan. This time the Sheeran just wouldn't stick. And Buse comes through and just knocks it over the line and just practices a little bit of bumping into the side of the fence there, Malcolm.
Actually, Kernahan's game hasn't been perfect. He's dropped actually 2 or 3 marks he should have taken.
He's only kicked 7 so far.
Yeah.
you mean not perfect? It's a pretty
Well, he
good
should have
effort.
taken that mark, actually.
Oh, yes.
And there have been, I'm saying he should have, maybe he's had a chance to kick 10.
So you'd be a tough coach.
I think that one of the things you've got to remember is that sometimes the ball wobbling forward with that breeze just gets a bit of speed up, and if you're not quite behind it, the ball just wobbles out of your hands. I mean, just come a bit quicker on you down breeze than into the breeze.
All I know is he was shaking his head going back. Thought he should have taken the mark. And the ball is out of bounds again.
I've never known any great player that didn't think they could improve, Drew, by the way.
He was probably thinking, I reckon Drew Morford might be up there bagging me.
Yeah, Drew's kicked a lot of goals in his career. Spalding palms it down. Fletcher. White, a hand pass. Well, tackled by Bradley. He's bumped down by Scott, but gets it to the 50. No mark, didn't get first touch, Lawrence. Hughes, back to centre wing, straight to Craig Bradley as though he had a Bears jumper. And Bradley has been absolutely fantastic. 9 kicks, 11 handballs, and we're 3 minutes short of three-quarter time. Dean. They're going with the breeze, but they're just working it round in defence. McKay to Silvani, bad bounce, shot kick actually by Silvani, and McAdam chopped it off. Now here goes McIver for a bit of a run. Waits, Ackermanis with the pace, inside Pearce, a centering kick, Scott the only chance, he's got it!
Well, in fact, you've been advocating for quite a while that maybe this guy should be at centre-half forward, particularly in the conditions of today.
Yeah, probably more so with the wind, but certainly, I mean, he is a big fella. He's looked very lively when he's come on the ground, and you know, that's what strength can do sometimes, isn't it? Rather than Starcevic type, he's more of a running around type.
Dion Scott right in front, 40 metres out, misses to the right.
Of course, there's another reason why not to put him there.
But it's amazing, really, that he hasn't noticed that the breeze is down that end. You must kick left to the left-hand goalpost for the breeze to come in. The ball has been going out to that right pocket right throughout this course of this game, but some players just don't seem to be able to judge it correctly. You see Dean just take that easy mark. Let's lead on up here. Campbell, Clappe over the top. Kicks it long, so Kernhan's always the target. Ground level chance there for Mitchell, overruns the ball. Back to the Rhino, gives it back to Mitchell's gone short. Spalding, who's been very, very lively today, he's booted 2 goals. He's also had 13 possession, he's taken 9 marks, so he has been an absolute star. He's kicked pretty straight today for Earl. Very deliberate. He's got the breeze down to a T. So he's kicked 3.
Yes, he's been a very good player at centre-half forward today, and as you said, some of the marks he takes, he makes them look a bit harder sometimes. He's enjoying himself anyhow, which is terrific. If you watch, his great honesty in the air again by Kernaghan. A lot of players don't go real hard at the ball in the air, but Kernaghan is one who never holds back, and I think that's as much as part of footy as on the ground.
In the last minute of the third quarter. Ball doesn't clear the centre circle just yet. Pushing the back, Ackermanis, advantage played. Now Lappin, very wide, Merritt caught behind, Sexton well played. Very well played to find the boundary line. And a throw in, which will just about finish the action for the third quarter.
That's what I think is just a waste in footy. When you get a ball like that and you don't bring it back on the goal line, I reckon the easy way out in footy is to kick it at the boundary line in that situation. You've got to try and work the ball back into the corridor.
Mitchell. He's still struggling a bit. Barry Mitchell. Worked it forward. Off the ground goes Ange Christou. Over centre wing and out of bounds again. Now this time that will finish the action for the third quarter. 93-36. And a boundary throw in. Spalding. Ackermanis. He's kicked towards the 50. Merritt got underneath the ball. There is the siren for three-quarter time here at the Gabba. And it was another quarter where Carlton had use of the breeze, and for a long time they didn't look like taking advantage, but they finished up kicking 5 goals 2 in that term, and the Bears have managed just 1 goal into the breeze in the first and third quarters. So a huge task for the Bears, even though they're coming home with the win. Carlton 14-9-93, Brisbane 5-6-36.
The Anzac Day blockbuster, Collingwood and Essendon from the MCG. Only on 7 Sports.
36, Kernahan 7, all at one end of the ground. Spalding has kicked 3 and Clappe has kicked 2. And for the Bears, they've all come in singles. And the game being played at Princes Park in Melbourne. Footscray bouncing back after last week. 8-3-51 leading Melbourne. 3 goals, 5-23. Osborne has 4 for the Bulldogs. Down on the boundary line here at the Gabba is Matty Campbell.
Thanks, Drew. And it looks like the tradition of if you play well, you get injured here at the Bears. Troy Clark has a serious knee injury, maybe a cruciate ligament, and they're not sure exactly till they do some exploratory surgery. And Greg Williams is just having a bit of a spell. He did cop that heavy knock, and he probably won't take any more part in the game because he's probably not needed.
Thanks, Matt. And while we're talking about Greg Williams, who only had 9 possessions up to the time he went off, but it was a heavy clash. Let's take a look again. It was a centre bounce, and Williams, eyes on the ball, copped it from Dion Scott.
Well, he's off this quarter too. He's over there in the dugout now, Greg Williams. And he always starts on the defensive side of his ruckman and runs through with the ball. And that was typical the way that Williams always lines up at a centre bounce. And it was a bit unusual to have a player get up so high for a ruckman such as Dion Scott then, and really had the leg out. And he stayed on the ground, but not in that third term. So I think he did pretty well to get up off the ground.
Now Madden is going to start the quarter, as it has been the trend. His opponent, Damien Burke.
Starcevic now at centre-half back on Spalding, and Dion Scott is at centre-half forward again, lining up with the Breeze this time, Kevin. So it'll be interesting just to watch it now.
Let's hope he stars there.
Well, for all sorts of reasons.
That's right.
Well, Carlton made it look like an 8-goal breeze in the first quarter, but it's going to need to be a 10-goal breeze for the Bears to get up, because they trail by 57 points going into the last change, and Carlton are the first ones to move forward. Ratton pulled off his kick, bouncing ball for Kernahan, who's kicked 7. Gowers with him, tunnels it towards the boundary line and doesn't find it. Gleeson keeps it in. Another chance for the Blues. O'Sullivan, who's replaced Williams in the centre. Koudafides just inside 50. Not a bad kick. Just gets across the face, through for a behind.
He's been a pretty good player, Koudafides, and there's Greg Williams in the dugout. Looks like he's okay there, just having a bit of a chat. And when you're 10 goals in front, well, you can give your best player a bit of a break. Here's Madden from behind, thumps the ball forward. Mitchell had 14 possessions today. Mitchell picked up by Fletcher. Back here to McLean. Big Burke kicks with the breeze up towards the half-forward line. Dean showed a lot of courage. Back of the pack, Whitehead. Good hands, good vision. Gets it out to Mackay. He's going short, Koudafides. So he's really added something to the Carlton side, Koudafides. He's fast, he's tall, he's a thumping kick. Here's Bradley, one of the best players on the ground. He's a ball carrier. Look at this, for a wonderful play by Bradley. He's going to get it back here from the skipper. No, he's not. Just keeps running on all the time. He really hurt side by breaking them up, I believe, Malcolm.
Yes, that's very right. And watching Fremantle play Friday night, they do that too, don't they? They don't get as many possessions sometimes, although Carlton dominated today, but they do break the game up, as you're saying. They carry the ball 30 or 40 or 50 metres before they distribute it.
Just wrong foots the opposition all the time, particularly guys in defence. It's very off-putting to have guys running at you all the time, creating space. Now, he's got to kick this to the left-hand goal post to bring the ball back, and he's misjudged it. And through for a point. He's kicked 7 goals, Kernahan, 5 in the first term and 2 in the third quarter.
As well as 3 points, and they haven't really all been that hard of shots, have they?
Don't tell me. Perfect.
7 out of 10. I think the best goal kickers in the history of the game have only kicked 7 out of 10. So he's kicked 7 out of 10 today, so he's right up there with them.
Just a magnificent player to watch, and here he is contesting the boundary throw-in. Umpire calls for it and is going to ball it up here. Umpire Mark Nash, number 14. All three umpires Victorians today. They've made the trip up. Clappe won the hit out, but gave it straight to the opposition. Fletcher on the chest, Bradley. Craig Bradley used his pace against Ackermanis in setting up that previous play for Kernahan. Ackermanis is quick. Bradley's experience. He burnt him off. Here's Barry Mitchell. Bazza. The effects mark's picking up players offering leads all over the place. Kick by Mitchell. Tallest man there, Madden. Burke, a good punch away. Gains 30 metres. Dion Scott for the Bears. Into Ashcroft. Standing man was McAdam, but that's good play. Out to Fletcher. Fletcher with a bounce. Goes to the goal square. Leppich is there, but it's punched through by McKay and a rush behind.
So Christo to bring the ball back into play. 59 points now. They lead by the Blues. And out wide is young Whitehead. Fair looking kick into the breeze, but Sean Hart, who kicked a very important goal in the third term against the breeze, gets the ball down to White. Took it on the half volley, gets it back to young Lawrence. Been pretty good today. His kicking has let him down, but he can win the ball. Interesting when he plays on young Paul Hudson. Brings back memories of Lawrence stopping Peter Hudson on the mark from kicking his 151st goal in league footy, which would have been a record. And Lawrence once more comes away. Silvani goes bang, thumps the ball to the front of the pack. Chance here for big Dion Scott. Rockets the ball out. Gilbert McAdam gets it back to Scott. It's a long bomb. It's going to be shepherded through. Touched.
Gee, did very well to touch that despite the attention.
Well, Scott has been in the play at centre-half forward, even early in this last term. He has, Malcolm. You've got to take credit for that.
Sexton did particularly well to get a fingernail on that one. Here's Silvani. Here's Harry Madden. Marking at centre-half back. Whoops! Around the neck. So Scott McIver got on a ladder to get Madden round the neck and gave away 50 metres.
Yes, unfortunately, Dean was on the overlap and Scott McIver knew that, so he tried to stop him, and I'm not sure if it quite worked. Need a ladder to get up that high normally, don't you?
Yeah. Well, the Bears haven't scored a goal with the breeze in this last quarter, and they've used up 5 minutes. Kernahan takes the mark, advancing too far out to score. In short to Spalding. Well, Spalding, who's kicked free, he'd be a chance for his fourth.
Might be worth waiting while Kernahan gets back into the square, because there's a good chance that this will hold up and maybe fade to the right-hand side of the goalpost.
10 marks to Earl Spalding, a good day's work. 48 metres. Oh, it's one of his best kicks ever.
He's a dead-eye dick. There's a tap-out taken here by Voss. Gets the ball across to Lawrence. Being held. He's got plenty of go in him. Quick kick down to the forward line. Playing in front was Merritt. Not played a free kick. Couldn't take the mark. McAdam held by Peter Dean, and a ball up some 35 metres out from the Bears' goal. You see there Merritt, maybe thinking he may have been able to get the free kick. So Scott wins the tap. Chance for McIver, trying to crash his way through, caught by Silvani. Here's Dion Scott. This is a match-winning move by Malcolm Blight, because he's popped it through. Have you ever thought about coaching Malcolm?
Actually, I was just thinking that the Carlton...
Yes, well, in the past they've needed a lot from Merritt and McIver, and they've kicked one each. Here's Ange Christou. Wobbly old kick on the turn. Good
fantastic
mark. Courage by Michael Voss. His kick out to centre wing. Fletcher. Pursued by Ratton. And another example of players slipping on this lush-looking turf here at the Gabba. It doesn't look as though there's much reason for slipping, but they have all day.
A bit indicative of the way the Bears have played, how they've given up with their ball. You know, he's taken a great mark, Michael Voss, and then just didn't hit the target.
Got another chance here. Kicks the back of the ball. It spins forward and Scott takes a good mark. 70 metres out. Thumps it up towards the goal square. Merritt gets back. Flips off the hands. McIver's there. Taken to the behind post and flipped out of bounds by a Carlton defender. And they'll be happy to see that.
So Scotty McIver has booted 2 goals today. He's been fill-in on the forward line this year.
I've got him for 1.
1 goal?
Yep.
Yes, he has only got 1. You see Big Allen on the bench there, warming up. But Robert Walls said in the Bears magazine he's been his Mr. Fix-It man. He's had him everywhere as we see Lepage going off the field. The blood rule there, they're waiting for play. So he has to go off and the new player has to come on and take up the same position, which is Kennedy.
That's where I'd like to see them, the player come on, providing they do it through the interchange. I mean, it really does hold up the game a bit.
He could actually run on and be in his position and not bounce the ball till he goes over the line.
Correct.
And Kennedy is taking a week to get on the ground.
Well, he's being told what position to go to, and the umpire doesn't start the play until, you know, the new player coming onto the ground is in such a position that is not going to not disfavour the side who's had the player off with the blood rule.
So Kennedy coming out onto Koutafidis and Ashcroft moving up the ground for the Bears.
So it's only 35 metres around from the Blues goal. The Bears goal, I should say, as we see Dion Scott takes it out. But once more, we've got a ball up.
Don't want to harp on point. See the different type of player he is to Starcevic, who moves around, whereas Dion Scott is a body player in tight and sometimes keeps the ball in. I think that's what you need from a centre forward sometimes. You can't take skyscrapers all the time, just to contest in that position.
White wins the tap, chance for McAdam from the pocket, quick snap. Just 1 point. Well, the Bears were going today for their 3rd straight win. They haven't won 3 games in a row since 1989. Last time they played Carlton late last year, they got beaten by 99 points. So at this stage, it looks like that record of winning 3 straight is looking pretty tough. We see Voss on the boundary line trying to get around Gleeson, does it well, onto the left boot, good skills here, and finds White.
I remember that game last year when they played Carlton. It actually got match of the day status in Melbourne after the Bears had won 4 out of their previous 5, and they got absolutely belted, and Carlton kicked 11 in the last quarter. Scrappy in the middle of the ground near the cricket pitch. Here's Madden. Oh, he got boot the ball somehow. Well done. Spalding up for about his dozenth. But Starcevic out to White. Good running by Hart inside the 50. He knew he couldn't burn off Hannah. Lost ground to White. He's in all sorts of trouble, Darryl White. Eventually McRae off to Hart, who started the business and kicks the goal. His second.
Got to kick 8 goals, the Bears, to snatch it. So Madden in that centre bounce. Quick kick. Chance for Buse at the back of the pack for the Bears. Mitchell worries him out of it. Starcevic now at centre half back, taken here by dropping the ball there. So it goes against O'Sullivan. Free kick goes to Buse. Former All-Australian, captain of the Cats. Kicks it out wide, and big Dion Scott. Well, he's been a fantastic player in this last term. He's kicked a goal, he's given a fair bit of life. Kicks the ball deep, up to the forward line. McIver's the target, in front this time with Silvani. Couldn't quite take it, ground level. Chance now for the Bears, 2 against 1. Fletcher tries to tap forward to Merritt. Kicking off the ground here is Sexton. Good defensive play, heads for the safety of the boundary line. Brisbane fans not happy about it, but he's done it well.
There's Stephen Kernahan, he's off the ground. I just noticed him going off. See the difference here? Adrian Fletcher tried to paddle it back through the guy's oncoming legs. All you have to do is protect the ball, and then you can wheel around. It's just a different way of doing it. You don't need to take that much risk in that situation.
Well, Allen and Madden both on the ground. Allen won it, but got it straight to Ackermanis, who kicks a terrific goal.
Here they come.
First goal in league football for number 35, and as you've been...
Madden against Burke.
Voss. Yeah, Voss has been freed up off Koutafidis now. He's playing as a rover.
Ackermanis to Merritt. Was he pushed out? Play on, says the umpire. At the back, McLean couldn't get boot to ball, and it's out of bounds. A throw in alongside the behind post. It's 101 to 57, and we have 10.5 minutes remaining at the Gabba.
Justin Leppich there. Really has got that head bandaged up. Bit of electrical tape holding on the bandage. As Dean just stumps the ball back over the line. So a chance here for the Bears with this throw-in taking place hard up on the boundary line. Right on the point post, I should say. So Merritt issuing instructions. Burke, he's doing all the pushing and shoving down there. Look at that, eh? 2 of them wrestle there. Picked up by Mackay. So the Blues are out of danger. Waiting underneath the ball. Hannah has been an outstanding player today. Good play by Ratton. Quick hands. Got the ball out towards Gleeson. Back to Hannah, being bowled over. So in numbers now, the Bears picked up by Lawrence. Into that forward pocket. It's not going to hit its target out there, McLean. And once more, we've got a boundary throw-in. Magic McLean. Twice the best and fairest winner. Came across from Footscray where he was absolutely outstanding. Just played under 100 games for the Bulldogs. So Madden gets into the back here of Big Burke. So Burke will take the free kick. Now this will be an important kick because there's still plenty of time. We've just played 15.5 minutes. So with the breeze, the Bears could come home with a wet sail. What sort of kick is Big Burke, Malcolm?
Hadn't kicked a lot of goals in his career. In fact, I think 12 in over his 100 games, from memory.
It would have been a bit handy. It might have just sparked them up. Remember St Kilda yesterday, well out of the game against Hawthorn. They kicked 6 goals in a row in the last quarter and made a tourney of it.
Well, I was at that game. They got within 2 goals. And a free kick was given to young Shane Crawford, which just in front of goals, which stopped their run.
Here's Peter Dean for the Blues. Kennedy spoiling from behind. Scott in front. Ackermanis, he took the ball over the boundary line. And we'll have a throw in. Jason Ackermanis. Maybe they didn't want to rush him in so soon, but with the list of injuries they had, I think his league debut has been brought forward maybe a month or 2. He's done all right. There's Harry. He'll take a free kick. Listen to the crowd giving it to him. Burke got the previous one. Madden gets this one. Tit for tat, I might say.
Just failed to make contact with the ball.
I remember a famous instance between these two some years ago before I got to Geelong, and remember the boys were telling me about a game at Pritchard's Park, I think, in those days. Madden and Damien Burke.
They punched the living suitcases out of one another.
That was interesting because Harry was really going on with it. He maybe wasn't aware the umpire had already given him the free kick. That's the sort of thing you do when you're waiting for the free to be given. Here's the ball up and out of bounds at half forward. Craig Bradley has had an outstanding day. He's had 22 possessions.
Yes, he's a marvellous player. Former Port Adelaide player. There's always been talk that he could have gone back and played with the Crows, but Kernhan and Bradley have both remained very loyal to the Blues. Voss gets the quick hands out towards Lappin. Needs a kind bounce. Kicked off the ground by Camporelli. Kicked off the ground this time by Bradley. Down towards Sporting. So he's got a chance to give it off. He's got a loose player in the pocket. He sees Allen. He needs a good bounce here. Can't bend down and pick up. He's a left footer, so he can snatch a goal, and he's done that.
Matthew Allen and the Blues 107 to 58. Lawrence got the hand pass through. He was legged, says the umpire, and he'll take a free kick.
Look, Lawrence, Ackermanis, just looking quickly around. I mean, Leppich has played today. There's still some good youngsters here, isn't there? A bit of experience missing with those injuries.
They've played 5 teenagers today, the Brisbane Bears.
Fantastic.
Yep. Look at somebody like Michael Voss, who's still a teenager, and he's in his 4th season. It's amazing.
Well, not too many sides can play at their top if they're missing Craig Lambert, Matthew Clark, Ross Lyon, Richard Champion, Alistair Lynch. You can't perform at your best. You hope you can on a certain given day that guys will come in and play a role, a major role. But put those guys in the side and we could have had a much closer game than what we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dean wins this tap. Went through Voss. He's still in the contest though, but Mitchell kept his footing. Barry Mitchell fires out the hand pass to Pearce. Playing against his old side, he racked up a couple of games for the Bears. Got a bit of pace, but gee, that was a good tackle by Andy Gowers. Brought him undone and turned it over. Lappin, Ackermanis. He's quickest in the club, over 40 and 100 metres. Up towards McLean. McIver palms the ball out. They can't keep it in. We'll have a throw in.
Yes, it's interesting that they've got club records on who's the fastest over 40 and 100 metres. Each year they test their players, and this year Ackermanis blew the record away with his performances in their pre-season training.
Yeah, that's not to say that he's fastest over 61 metres, too.
No, in fact, he's the slowest.
And that's not to say that you're the fastest at watching the ball off someone's boot and reacting to that as well.
No, I don't think Greg Williams would be the fastest over 40 at Carlton, would he?
I think pace is an asset.
Right.
It's certainly doesn't make a footballer.
No, but I think in that young man's kit bag, it's going to be very, very handy because he looks like he's got a lot of ability. Mackay gets it back here, but it's been sharked here by McIver. McIver kicks the ball down, but in front is Sexton.
Done a great job too, hasn't he?
Very underrated player, Sexton.
Actually, the whole back line, probably not best on ground in that terms, but just efficient.
And here's another efficient player, Christou, comes away. He's quick and he's usually a beautiful kick. Good tap on here by Clappe at the back of the pack. Gowers has read it well. Feeds the ball off here to Lappin. He's got a long raking hand pass to Voss. Certainly he's been a very, very good player. It's his 18th possession. Kicks it deep. Down there is Merritt. Peeling for the free kick. Thought it was his.
I don't know how.
Well, Roger thinks it's his free kick. And he was just explaining to the umpire why. And Christou once more with the ball in the back pocket. So we've played just on 20 minutes now in this final term. And Christou just hugs the boundary line, the members' side, looking down there for Madden, who cops one from Kennedy.
Another free kick to Madden.
Or was it Big Burke? I think it was Big Burke who actually made contact with him. Accidental, of course.
How long's this been going on? Before you got to Geelong? It goes back away, doesn't it?
He's accidentally been hitting Madden for 5 years. up goes Gowers and takes the mark. Unusual position really for Gowers today, having to play the key positions. He's been tried there at Hawthorn. It doesn't really suit him. He is an outstanding wingman, but Robert Walsh has been forced to play him in that key position, full back and cross half forward. Here's Kennedy this time. His dad formerly played with the Saints. Des Kennedy. This is a beautiful kick, and that's one thing his dad was good at, and he's good at it too.
They just haven't had anyone to get a lot.
It's an interesting game, football. They've won 2 quarters. At this stage, I mean, they've outscored Carlton in the second and last quarters with the breeze. It's just that just couldn't get enough.
Well, Sticks Kernahan looked as though he was going to be rested for the rest of the game, but off with blood is Peter Dean, so Kernahan's back on. Might be able to add to his 7 goals. Back in the middle for the ball up. Burke thumps into Madden again, but Madden gets it to Bradley. To full forward, one out is Allen with Gowers. Gowers does all right. Andy Gowers off the ground, ex-Hawthorn player. Lappin leads the race. Then cut down by Clappe. Ackermanis. Kick to centre half forward. Scott up very high, up and down before acceptances. And a Carlton free kick going back to Milhana.
50.
So the umpire's still in the centre square.
What was that for, Drew? Did you see?
No.
That 50 minutes?
No, didn't see it. Allen leads. It's knocked down. Another player slips over. It's Pearce this time. Mitchell. Centering kick. Kernahan. I don't think he started in a position. He's just wandering. He takes the mark.
Well, actually, he was going to centre half back because Peter Dean went off, and Milhana covered for him down there. So he's just thought he'd just drop into centre half forward and get a kick there.
So he's taken 11 marks. This is his 14th kick. And it might be 18 goals in 2 weeks. No, he's not going for it. He looks for Allen. And the ex-Ringwood ruckman takes the mark. And Matthew Allen, each quarter, has come on about midway through, usually to replace Madden. But this time, Madden and Allen both seeing out the game on the ground. And Allen kicked a goal earlier in the quarter. This for his second. kick from a difficult angle. Well, he looks like being a player when Harry finally hangs up those old boots.
Yes, interesting player. Hasn't played many games, but 8 or 9 games at this stage, but looks interesting. Stephen Kernahan, beautiful kick then, beautiful lead. Of course, being a left footer, excellent pocket to lead into if that's possible. And he does look good skilled, doesn't he, for a big fella? I mean, his coordination at putting the ball on the boot's terrific.
So Voss out of the centre square. For the Bears, long shot at goal. This is great play. Fantastic play. That's how easy it is in league football. That's what they say in the manual. Go up, tap the ball down, to play by young Voss.
That's 9 different goal kickers for the Bears.
So Burke versus Madden. Taken by Mitchell. Quick kick straight down towards Big Allen over the top. Bit tall for Lepage there.
Fly.
Bandaged up. Gives it across here to Gleeson. But a free kick's been paid. It's being brought back, and I think Lepage for over the shoulder will take the free kick.
Yeah, Gowers is off too, Kevin. He just sort of limped after Allen when that kick from Kernahan came in, so he looked pretty sore.
Kick by Lepage, and still only to half back, where the mark is taken by Craig McRae. Another speedster for the Bears. Over centre circle. Big pack. Excellent mark. Stephen Silvani up the ground. Comes short to Koutafidis. Scott does well to make it a contest. Now at ground level, it's going to be a free kick to Carlton. Held but not in possession by McIver. And Earl Spalding will take the free kick. 4 goals, a good day's work. Mitchell have been pushed out of it by Fletcher. Fletcher, another player to slip over. Lepage, Lappin, the teenagers combining. Kennedy kicked a big goal earlier on. This is a big kick, but not for goal. Merritt, almost. McIver front of the pack. Scott McIver running out of room, hooks it back to the goal square. A ripper. Two goals for Scott McIver.
They haven't got a lot of from the crumbs, have they, with Merritt's contest, who's not actually jumping, and the Bears underman. I reckon they've been pretty good, really, in a lot of ways.
Well, big Matthew Allen takes it at centre half forward, loses it, then gains it again. Madden on hands and knees, Lepage there, back to Voss. So the youngster kicks back where we see Hannah there has been strong in the air. Hart's done very, very well there. But Hannah, look at the recovery. Go Mill, they cry. Takes the ball, casual bounce. Now he drops it, picks up, got plenty of time. Kicks it back, Kernahan's his target in front. Punched away this time by Starcevic. Chance at the back of the pack. Big Burke's going to paddle along the ground. Just whacks it straight over the line. Still on the 50-metre line.
Doing a PhD.
He's doing a PhD, yes.
Finance and what? Real estate, business.
Chance for Mitchell, quick kick. It's over the line on the full. So Starcevic for the Bears should take this kick. No, he said, I'm going to let Fletcher take it. Clappe, who's been a good acquisition this year for Carlton, just gives that extra man up forward, apart from Spalding and also Kernahan. Just someone else has got to watch him as Dion Scott takes the mark. He's only played 25 games in 5 years, but I mentioned before he had 5 operations over summer, just so he could continue his career. Here's the Rhino, O'Sullivan on the burst, onto the left boot, kicks deep, Dean backing back. Punched away there by Starcevic at ground level. Lepage comes in, gets the ball across here. Taken away by Buse. He's got a loose man on the half-back flank and he finds Hart. Thrown to the ground, that'll be 50. Not quite certain why Mill would do that.
Oh, it's mystifying, isn't it, really?
I mean, he's clearly marked it, and
Perhaps he thought he'd played on.
so the ball kicked down to the pocket. McIver there, knocked over the line by Ashcroft. And we're very close to siren time. We've played 26 minutes into this final term.
Actually, Hart's been probably Hannah's best opponent. Might have quieted him a bit, frustrated him.
So Madden punched it to the front, thumped on there by Bradley. Chance for Mitchell. Couldn't get it this time. Hands and knees down there. Trying to get the ball out is Scott. And he's been paid the free kick. So it'll be interesting to see Scott's statistics, he's had it 13 times, he's taken 5 marks, he's kicked a goal, so he's got a bit of ability. Here's Kennedy. He's kicked it. Here's a goal coming up here for the Bears. White. And Kennedy's also, who's been around for a number of years now, as White puts through his first goal. He's played on the wing, he's played in key positions, but generally as a wing.
Put it tight, pressure's on, never know what happens. Yeah,
Yes.
write the book.
There's still nearly a minute to go, so maybe time for another one. Mitchell out of the middle. 10 different goal kickers today for the Bears. Justin Lepage, they'll be proud of him in Berwick. Looks like a lead singer of a rock band. Lost control of it this time, right on the logo. A real scrap at ground level for it. And the umpire says, give it to me and I'll ball it up.
Actually, that's one of the slight problems you have when you carry the ball and you're a young player, and sometimes the Fremantle players do this, that they get to a stage when they're not quite certain whether they should handball it or kick it. And there was a classical case of young Lepage carrying the ball and then all of a sudden having to handball wildly.
Burke has seen the game out pretty well, still leapt up pretty high for that one. Big task today. Gleeson's hand pass into Bradley. A great game, Craig Bradley, and a perfect pass, and Peter Dean is going to kick another one. Now there he was off the ground earlier on with the blood rule. He's come back onto the forward line, and in the last 5 seconds has taken a mark, so the defender is going to finish with 4 goals in the first 4 rounds. Not a bad effort.
So you've already put this goal down, Drew?
Yeah, kick it. Top play. Peter Dean, 40 metres out, has kicked it. Thank you, Deanie, you're guilty. You saved me. Well, actually, Carlton into the breeze in the last quarter kicked far too many goals for the Bears' liking. They kicked 4 goals into the wind, and they've run out comfortable winners. But when I say comfortable, 37 points. Actually, the Bears won the last quarter by 20 points. And down on the boundary line, here's the man who kicked 7, Stephen Kernahan, with Matt Campbell.
Yes, with me is Steve Kernahan. Steve, congratulations on the win. The side got off to a very good start and just controlled the game from there.
Yeah, I thought our first quarter was great. It's always, we've got a pretty RS record up here in Brisbane and in the state, and to get away to a 7 or 8 goal break early was great. I thought we really kept the forward line open and played pretty well. Shame what happened at the end.
And yourself, off to a great start, 5 goals in the first quarter. Freddie Fanning's record was in trouble there for a while.
I don't think so, Matty. As I said, I think we really delivered the ball really well, and we controlled in the midfield and made us, 1 out up 4. That's about all we can ask.
And another big fella up forward. Oh, Sporting had a terrific game. Took 10 marks, kicked 4 goals.
Well, Spalding's just sensational. He was probably down a little bit a couple of weeks ago. Last week he was fantastic against Footscray, and to have a centre forward taking 10, 11, 12 marks, kicking some goals is really good for the side.
All right, thanks for your time, Stephen. Good luck against North Melbourne next week.
Matty.
Former South Australian State of Origin teammates Matthew Campbell and Stephen Kernahan. Final score, Carlton 18-11, Brisbane 12-10.
Blight, Sheehan and McAvaney. Talking footy. Every Monday night on
18-11, 119 to 12 goals, 10-82. Stephen Kernahan kicked 7, Spalding kicked 4, 2 to Clappe and 2 to Allen. And for the Brisbane Bears, well, they had a lot of goal kickers, but their only multiple goal kickers were McIver and Hart, who kicked 2 goals each.
the 1995 AFL Premiership season. Brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors Australia, Qantas, McDonald's, Mobil, Carlton Draft and National Australia Bank.
OK, let's take a look at some of the highlights of the game in the second half. And here's Malcolm.
Yes, Drew, it was a pretty good game of football, really. And as we look at the second half, Stephen Kernahan, who reigned supreme in the forward line, didn't have a lot of chances into the breeze, and he was rested in that last quarter. But this is a fantastic kick. One of the wobbles from Stephen, wobbled it through right when they needed a goal then too. It was just the perfect timing. Allen came onto the ground, and as happened throughout the day, he really did. Earl Sporting played very, very well at centre half forward, and Kuta Fides, as we know he can, that running goal and great kick. They really needed something then, Carlton, and it came in the form of those 2 goals. In the last quarter, Kernahan came back on for a while and really did set up some teammates, and once again Earl Sporting, and as Drew called it at the time, his longest and straightest kick for his 4th goal. Really is a bonus when a centre half forward can kick 4 goals, and yet we thought during the call he probably just fumbled a little bit and dropped some. Dion Scott came on at centre-half forward, was very, very competitive, and ended up here with a very nice goal in the last quarter. And the Bears not to be discredited, I didn't think. 7 goals to 4 in that last quarter. Darryl White. The Bears had players who played patchily, I suppose, is the best way. I didn't see anyone put their head down. They kept on trying, and Sean Hart finished off that good bit of play from the Bears.
Now, Malcolm, what about your votes for today?
Well, with apologies to the whole Carlton backline and Earl Spalding, Craig Bradley, 3 votes. As Kevin mentioned during the call, I thought he really did break the game up when it counted. Stephen Kernahan probably won the game a bit like Tony Lockett last night. Really did kill the game off early. And Mil Hannah for his first 3 quarters, when was a very, very good player and sent it forward many occasions.
Well, this round is being played over 5 days in 5 states. Today, down in Melbourne at Princes Park, it's Footscray and Melbourne, and Terry Wheeler's our man.
Thank you, Drew. And we're now into the 3rd quarter, and Melbourne are making a little bit of a fist of this. Footscray got away to a very good start with Richard Osborne at full forward, kicking 5 goals in the first half. He actually had 5 out of Footscray's first 7 and was a very good focal point up there. Scott West was doing very well in the centre, as was Kim Costa on Tim Gay, and Leon Cameron being in amongst them all. So Footscray did make a very good start of the game. Bridgick and Stanfield doing very well against the taller opposition players of Irving and Steins, and it really looks as though Footscray had a very good hold on the game. Since that particular point in time, at half-time, Lyon has moved into the centre of the ground onto Scott West and has started to make a real impact in onto the game. Melbourne have the use of the breeze during this particular 3rd quarter where we are, and that they really are able now to perhaps set up something for this last quarter. They are on a little bit of a surge. Sean Smith, who we see on screen now, has been a very good player for Melbourne. He's actually kicked 3 goals to this particular stage, and some of his marking has been quite exceptional. Brad Johnson playing around the midfield for Footscray has been a very lively player there, and I think that's where Footscray held the early ascendancy, with the ability of the players through the midfield to be able to counter what is a depleted Melbourne line-up in the midfield with the absence of the 2 Lovetts and Viney. Obst returning to the side has been very good in there, but now there's just this little bit of a sniff for the Melbourne side in this particular game, and their surge into the 3rd quarter has been very, very good. Drew, I think the way it's building up now, this last quarter here at Princes Park will be a very, very exciting one. The Neitz and Grant duel has been an exceptional one. Grant very good early, has been extremely good with his hands and in close, but Neitz has certainly worked hard to containing wherever possible. Ramiro and Collinyuk, 2 very good forwards for the Footscray side once Richard Osborne had finished, and between them they kicked 4 goals in the 3rd quarter, with Collinyuk kicking 3 consecutive goals. But Obst here has been a very good player for Melbourne. He's probably been the spark to them. He's been very consistent right throughout. And at this particular stage, we see that Melbourne, with 10-7-67, are trailing Footscray 13-5, 83.
Good on your Wheels. Having a nice and relaxed day. I suppose your blood still beats red, white and blue. Let's hope that Footscray can hang on for you. All right, let's take a look at the matches remaining in round 4. In this round that seems to have started 2 weeks ago and finishes next month. Adelaide and the West Coast playing at Footy Park this afternoon. On Monday night at the MCG, the first night game for premiership points. It's Richmond against North Melbourne, and what a terrific night that should be, and a big crowd. And plenty of them might stay overnight because they'll be there for the next day, Anzac Day, and the game that should draw something in the high 80,000s even. What a game it should be, Collingwood and Essendon. And then next week, a bit more normality. 3 on Saturday, Footscray, Fremantle, Richmond, Brisbane, Geelong and Fitzroy. At night time, West Coast against Melbourne at the Wacker. And then 4 games on Sunday. It's North and Carlton at the MCG, Hawthorn, Collingwood, Essendon, St Kilda and Siddeley against Adelaide at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Well, that's been football. That takes us about halfway through this round 4. This game at the Gabba today, won by Carlton, who defeated Brisbane by 37 points, and they set it up in the first quarter.
This AFL telecast.